Chapter 1021 Don't blame Tsunade. Luhan didn't do anything. If he hasn't said anything yet, he naturally won't do it. The hands-on is Tsunade. When she saw Luhan appeared, she went into a runaway state, and rushed to Jiraiya in an instant with the momentum of the stormy waves. Her clenched fists had already rubbed against the air to create flames, carrying an unparalleled might. Yes, it hit Jiraiya with a stunned face. Jiraiya is dumbfounded. He didn't expect Tsunade to suddenly do something to himself. No proper response at all. Boom. The violent airflow wrapped Jiraiya and flew up. The space was shaking. Jiraiya slanted into the sky like a cannonball, flew out of the courtyard. People sprayed blood in the air, drawn an arc, and gradually disappeared from Luhan's sight. Middle. Silence. Luhan squinted at Tsunade strangely. Orochimaru, help me go see him. Tsunade said solemnly, tilted his head to glance at Orochimaru, and then slowly put away the posture of punching. His expression became calm, as if nothing had happened. Orochimaru didn't say a word, and Hand Seal disappeared into the courtyard. In the woods in the Kaharu Udatane courtyard, a sturdy human flesh sandbag slammed into the woods, broke 3 trees, and tumbled more than 10 meters on the ground. Finally, it hit a bright stone and bounced. Just stopped. How miserable. Near here, Anbu, Hyuga scouts and more than 100 ninjas all knew what was going on, and they all looked terrified, but they didn't pay attention to Jiraiya, because Orochimaru had already appeared in the woods out of thin air. Orochimaru exuded an icy aura, followed the blood marks and plow marks on the ground, and walked slowly to the stone with his shoulders in his arms. Jiraiya, who was lying down with her head raised, took a deep breath, struggled to sit up abruptly, let out another breath, and then began to cough violently. Although Tsunade's punch took a few layers of strength, it was indeed an injury. Took him. If I were you, I wouldn't be so rash and shouting at Hongguang. Orochimaru looked down at him. His tone was cold. If you do this, you won't get any results you want. About the teacher you don't have to speak coldly. If you do it directly, you will be the one who will die. Jiraiya looked at Orochimaru with a sad face. Cough. Before she could say anything, Jiraiya began to cough violently, and then her throat sweetened, her body swooped forward, and a large mouthful of blood spewed out. At this moment, Jiraiya looked extremely miserable. His clothes were tattered, blood was everywhere, weeds and mud were all over his body, and his face was pale and sluggish. Don't blame Tsunade. Orochimaru looked at Jiraiya and said again, she is protecting you. Hongguang is her husband. He saved her life, and even gave up his own life for her, so Tsunade will not be with her no matter what. Hongguang did the right thing. She can only do this. It's better for you to be injured than to die. Actually, if it were me, if you really fought with Hongguang, I would stop you, because even if the 3 of us were tied together, we would not be Hongguang's opponent, and Tsunade wouldn't be. That's all. In order to avoid unnecessary casualties. Quote. Actually Stop talking, I'll take you to the medical department. Orochimaru helped Jiraiya up, pulled Jiraiya's arm around the back of his neck, and walked westward while supporting Jiraiya. In the small courtyard, Luhan and Tsunade walked into the house side by side. Actually, you don't need to do this. Luhan said suddenly, and glanced at Tsunade. I don't necessarily know what to do with him. It's not easy to have close friends in this life. Don't ruin your relationship because of me. Quote. Tsunade pursed his lips, lowered his head, and whispered, he will understand. Into the night. In the bright hall, the 3 of them were sitting around the same table, having dinner. Tsunade made the dinner. Apart from Luhan and Tsunade, there was only Kaharu Udatane, the owner here. After Orochimaru went to take care of Jiraiya, he never came back. As for Orochimaru, Luhan has not figured out what to do with it. Because Orochimaru's state is very unstable, in Luhan's eyes, he is often named Yuhi and often Orange. Luhan knows that he has ideas, but all aspects of restraint make it difficult for Luhan to simply and decisively deal with the problems that Orochimaru may bring. Musashi is gone. Huh. Luhan turned to look at Kaharu Utatane, which was the first sentence she said after coming back today. We have confirmed from Uchiha Obito that Musashi is indeed collaborating with Uchiha Madara in private, which is to bypass Hiruzen. Kaharu Utatane continued, the ninjas of the root organization have already been controlled. If they cannot be controlled, Minato has already dealt with them. But Musashi was not found. Quote. He should be looking for Uchiha Madara. Luhan replied. Somewhere in the ninja world, an underground cave. The gigantic Geto Mazo, demonic statue of the outer path, shone eerily in the firelight, and in the shadow of the Geto Mazo, demonic statue of the outer path, deep in Sarutobi Hiruzen, sitting cross-legged on a futon, breathing like the fury of a storm. The sea is extremely unstable, violent, his white hair is flying, and his wrinkled cheeks are gradually showing a strange vitality. Call. Black Zetsu appeared out of thin air in a rocky clearing dozens of meters away, looking at Uchiha Madara without making a sound immediately. For a long time. The breath on Uchiha Madara's body finally began to stabilize, gradually gathered, and gradually disappeared. When everything was calm, Uchiha Madara opened his eyes and said hoarsely, "What's wrong?" The news that Konoha just sent back, Hongwang appeared in public, told about Sarutobi Hiruzen's grievances, and exposed Musashi's identity. At that time, Black Zetsu briefly explained the situation at that time. Although the process was very complicated, it was very difficult for Uchiha Madara. Most of the grudges between Hongwang and Sarutobi Hiruzen have nothing to do with him, and he doesn't care either. Musashi, where's Uchiha Obito? Madara asked, muttering. No news about Obito yet, Black Zetsu continued. Madara pondered. Hongwang mentioned a very important thing when talking about the death of White Fang. Black Zetsu added. What? Uchiha Madara tilted her head to look at Black Zetsu. He spoke to Hitaki Kakashi, the son of White Fang, Black Zetsu said. He promised Hitaki Kakashi that he would resurrect White Fang within a few months. Chapter 1022 well calculated. Resurrection of White Fang. He said it in public. Yes, he did not hide his ability to revive others. He made a promise to Hitaki Kakashi, the son of White Fang, in public. He also said that there would be a price to pay for resurrecting White Fang, but I don't think this price is unbearable. Even compared to resurrection life, this is a small price. Quote. Well, good. Hongwang, it seems that he is really ready to welcome me over, hee. Uchiha Madara did not appear excited, but was very calm. The news that Black Zetsu sent back this time only strengthened his determination to go to Konoha. After all, it was not the first time that he heard the news of Master Hongwang's life and death. What happened to the Land of Thunder? Uchiha Madara tilted her head and asked. Kurigakure Anbu is fully dispatched and is expected to arrive at Kumogakure village in 2 days. Yagura will follow the mission to Konoha in secret. Yeah, Uchiha Madara nodded, pondered for a moment, and then stood up suddenly. Okay, let's hit the road now, to Konoha village. New day, morning. Konoha Hidden Village, a bustling village that had been silent for a night, began a new day of hustle and bustle. This is the 6th day of Sarutobi Hiruzen's death, and the 7th day of his corpse. That is to say, he will be buried on the 8th day, which is the day after tomorrow. On this day, all the senior ninjas who were out on duty have returned to Konoha village. The general mansion of the Iron Country, the Taki Ninja Village, the Bear Ninja Village, the Grass Ninja Village and other forces all arrived at Konoha this morning, while the other 4 major ninja villages in the 5 major countries, Sunagakure Village in the Wind Country, the delegations from Iwagakure Village in the Land of Earth, and Kurigakure Village in the Land of Water will arrive in Konoha in a day, while Kumogakure Village in the Land of Thunder has just sent a mission, but they are hurrying and are expected to arrive in Konoha tomorrow afternoon. The Fire Nation's daimyo arrived last night, a little later than expected. It has been confirmed that a state funeral will be held for Sarutobi Hiruzen. Although he has heard a lot of rumors about Sarutobi Hiruzen after arriving at Konoha, he also feels that Sarutobi Hiruzen is still greatly supported in Konoha, so his attitude has to be shown. Kaharu Udatane left without even having breakfast that day. Luhan was relatively free, and he had nothing to do with him at all. He just accompanied Tsunade and left after Sarutobi Hiruzen was buried. Of course, if Uchiha Madara came, it would be another matter. When Luhan came downstairs, Tsunade had already made breakfast. It's just over half of the meal. Squeak _. The door of the house was suddenly pushed open, and there were two people outside, Orochimaru and Jiraiya. Tsunade clenched his chopsticks all of a sudden, but didn't make a sound right away. Orochimaru's face was as cold as ever, and he held his shoulders silently, while Jiraiya took a deep breath, stepped into the room, knelt before the dining table with a thump, and kowtowed, "Please revive the teacher." He got it. Luhan said in public yesterday, Jiraiya will naturally hear people say that Hongguang has the ability to resurrect the dead. Tsunade was stunned for a moment, then his expression softened a lot. It was better not to find fault. She was afraid that she would not be able to stop her. As for the resurrection of Sarutobi Hiruzen, no matter whether there was any discussion, at least the possibility of conflict was not large. "Master Jiraiya, get up, you know it's impossible, why bother?" Luhan kept eating, chewing the balls, and said indifferently, "If it was me who died in that battle, who will resurrect me?" "That's different." Jiraiya suddenly raised his head and said excitedly, You are immortal, and the teacher doesn't hate you. If the teacher also has the ability to resurrect, he might save you too." Oh, Luhan was surprised, wondering why Jiraiya said that. "Did you know, the teacher left a last word on his deathbed? The successor to the position of Hokage is you. He chose you to become the 4th generation Hokage. Only Kaharu, Sama and Minato know about this. The teacher is dedicated to Konoha and even kills you. His grievances can be given up, no matter what the teacher has done before, those are all over." The teacher. Luhan was slightly stunned. "I am the 4th Hokage chosen by Sarutobi Hiruzen. It's well calculated. Do you really think Sarutobi Hiruzen chose me to be the 4th Hokage?" Luhan put down his chopsticks and looked at Jiraiya with a stern smile. "Of course it's true. What the teacher said in Minato's ear at the end of his life, Minato told me that there will be no falsehood." No, you didn't understand what I meant." Luhan shook his head. "I mean, Sarutobi Hiruzen really wanted me to become Hokage. Wouldn't it be counterproductive? Teacher You don't understand the situation at that time." Luhan interrupted Jiraiya's words. "At that time, after I killed Sarutobi Hiruzen, at least 1,500 Konoha ninjas surrounded me. If there was a fight at that time, the Konoha core elite would be killed. I killed them all. I can honestly say that I will definitely win in the end. Once that happens, Konoha's foundation will be shaken, so there is a possibility that it will fall apart, or be completely defeated and destroyed by other shinobi villages. In terms of the situation at the time, I was the object of hatred. If Kaharu Udatane said Sarutobi Hiruzen's last words, there would only be one situation, that is, those ninjas who surrounded me would not agree with Sarutobi Hiruzen's last words, but because Sarutobi Hiruzen's last words, and gave up attacking me, on the one hand, once again reflected his greatness, on the other hand, it completely eliminated the possibility of me becoming Hokage. Although I do not want to become Hokage. Only in this way can Konoha's core strength be preserved. Konoha ninjas will love the dead Sarutobi Hiruzen even more, and I will become a sinner forever. No matter what I say after that, Sarutobi Hiruzen can rely on this generousness to stand him down. Of the great name. Quote. You can't. I think I'm maliciously guessing about Sarutobi Hiruzen. Luhan interrupted Jiraiya again. Wake up. How much do you think you know about Sarutobi Hiruzen? You are his disciple. You have never touched the other side of Sarutobi Hiruzen. Sarutobi Hiruzen I didn't count on you, let alone kill you. Teacher, he's definitely not. Jiraiya couldn't go on, because Lu Han disappeared out of thin air after speaking. Chapter 1023 Will Hanguang return to the helm of Konoha? Tsunade was the only one left at the table, and she was relatively calm, even if Jiraiya knelt there. After all, it was not the time to return to Konoha. She had thought through many things, but also looked down on many things. Jiraiya, get up. Tsunade looked at the dishes on the table and turned his head. It's useless for you to do this. Han won't change his decision. Come on, let's have breakfast together. Jiraiya hung her head, her shoulders shaking. Orochimaru, who was holding his shoulders, thought for a moment, then walked towards the dining table. Jiraiya stood up suddenly and turned to leave. In the downtown area of Konoha village, the high tower roof, Lu Han appeared out of thin air, overlooking the people coming and going on the street below in the wind. He is now so annoying. The so-called reach out and don't make a smile. This time when Jiraiya came, it wasn't as simple as a smile, but just kneeled down. Lu Han couldn't beat him, and he didn't want to listen to him moaning. Meow. Lu Han suddenly felt that there were many small things on his shoulders. It was a shadow cat that appeared out of nowhere, waving its tail, and rubbed its small head against Lu Han's ear. Is there a situation? Lu Han asked. No, after that guy left Konoha, he stayed in the forest outside Konoha and didn't leave. Shadow Cat said. Huh. Lu Han frowned suddenly. Musashi left Konoha without looking for Uchiha Madara, outside. What are you waiting for? Waiting for Uchiha Madara. Uchiha Madara back, he knows. Or, he didn't know Uchiha Madara's whereabouts at all, and was usually in single-line contact with Black Zetsu. Lu Han can only think like this. Musashi left Konoha to avoid danger. Obito has sold him, so Konoha at this time is no longer a belonging to him, but an enemy. The breakfast that Tsunade prepared for you, you can go back and eat it, and then continue to monitor Musashi. Lu Han said. Meow. The shadow cat called, disappearing out of thin air. The wind caressed, with a fresh smell. There were more and more pedestrians on the street, and there were many ninjas from different countries dressed in special costumes. Lu Han, who was wearing a black robe, stared down, and did not move for a long time. Call. Behind Lu Han, a whirlwind rolled up, and two figures appeared out of thin air. Are two mysterious Konoha Anbu ninjas. Usually, some Konoha Anbu ninjas patrol the Konoha village, and it is not surprising to find Lu Han who has not hidden traces. After they appeared, they glanced at each other, then knelt down on one knee at the same time, and greeted, I have seen Lord Hanguang. Well, Lu Han turned back slightly and glanced back. He knew these two people, Anbu codenamed Chengsu, and Fireman. They were in Anbu more than 10 years ago. Back then, they were just ordinary ninjas of Anbu. Now they are in their 30s, they are the core elite of Anbu. I still remember the battle between Lu Han and Sarutobi Hiruzen 6 days ago. After Sarutobi Hiruzen died, Lu Han was under siege. There were always some ninjas who didn't attack Lu Han, but just pretended, because they didn't change into Yuhi's name, so Lu Han remembered it very much. Clear. Chengsu and Huazu are ninjas who didn't do anything. Sarutobi Hiruzen has die-hard loyalists in Konoha, but Lu Han has none. One is the greatest Hokage and the other is the greatest ninja. Although Lu Han's die-hard loyalists have been eliminated by Sarutobi Hiruzen in the past 10 years, but after all it is impossible to kill all. Don't worry about me, you all go. Lu Han said again. Yes. The two Anbu ninjas responded at the same time. At the same time, Lu Han took out the mask and put it on his face, and disappeared. When the two Anbu ninjas responded, they looked up, only to find that Lu Han was gone. Lord Hanguang, alas. Although it has been explained clearly, the grievance between Lord Hanguang and Lord Hokage is a pain in the heart of some people. Yes, there are still a small number of ninjas in the village who can accept Lord Hanguang. I don't know if Lord Hanguang will take charge of Konoha again, if he wants to. The empty rooftop, the low voice of conversation echoed in the wind. After Lu Han left the rooftop, he started walking around in Konoha village, which could be said to be patrolling or searching. He is looking for people related to Uchiha Madara, such as white Zetsu clones, black Zetsu. Apart from protecting Tsunade, his only concern is whether Uchiha Madara will come. At Hatake Kakashi's house, 5 people are having breakfast: Namikaze Minato, Uzumaki Arena, Uchiha Obito, Hatake Kakashi, and Nohara Rin. Obito's state is very bad. He is wearing a robe to cover himself tightly. He doesn't seem to be interested in eating. Everyone else cares about him, but it doesn't seem to relieve Obito's psychological pressure. Lu Han observed in the dark for a while, then left to continue searching. It is uncertain when Uchiha Madara will come, so if you search, it is estimated that it will be carried out every day for the past few days. Kaharu Udatane and Homura Mitokado are having a secret meeting with the daimyo. Inuzuka, the commander of the garrison corps, is receiving the embassy from the village of Grass Ninja who has just arrived, and is arranging accommodation for them. Anbu's acting captain, Hyuga Bonin, is in the Hyuga clan mansion and is discussing something with Hyuga Hiyashi, the chief of the Hyuga main clan. In the Legion camp, in restaurants and tea houses, on the streets, in the training grounds of private houses. You can hear the discussion about Sarutobi Hiruzen and Han Guang everywhere. The revelation of Han Guang at noon yesterday has caused an uproar in Konoha. Undercurrents surging. Lu Han ran around the Konoha village for a whole morning, first to search, then to observe and eavesdrop on some people's conversations. He already knew that the Konoha ninja's attitude towards him had changed, at least, he didn't hear it. Who said to avenge Sarutobi Hiruzen? One day later. Sarutobi Hiruzen died on the 7th day, less than 24 hours before his burial. At noon on this day, the delegation from the village of Kurigakure in the land of water and the delegation from the village of Sunagakure in the land of wind arrived in Konoha village one after another, and Kaharu Udatane personally came to receive them. They are Sukazan Fubuki, the leader of the 7-member group of the original Kurigakure sword, and Chiyo, the first puppet master of Sunagakure village. The entourages of the diplomatic missions of both sides were more than 100 people. Since they arrived at about the same time, Kaharu Udatane arranged for them to do it at the same time for Matsuri's worship of Sarutobi Hiruzen. Lu Han also arrived at the scene, but in secret, observing them. Chapter 1024 _ Do Something Again. Hokage Building, inside the morning hall. In the huge and empty space, 2 groups of people are clearly distinguished. One party has more than 130 people, and the other party has more than 150 people. Giant, saying that he is a giant because his height has gotten a terrifying 2.5 meters. Also very fat, a ninja of average height stood in front of him, only as tall as his waist and abdomen. Sukazan Fubuki. Just a year ago, he led a group of 7 people to kill Might Dai. After all, Might Dai did not escape his fate. He defeated the 7 members of the Mist Ninja Swordsmen, known as the Strongest Generation, with the 8 inner gates. Something different from the original happened. Might Dai in this world, because of the support of Anbu's large amount of resources, is a bit stronger than the original. Therefore, in the original book, he was the 4 members who killed the 7 members of the Kiri no Ninja Sword, and 3 escaped. In this world, Might Dai killed 6, and the only one who survived was Sukazan Fubuki, the leader of the 7 ninjas who used shark muscles. In Lu Han's eyes, this guy is naturally Yuhi. Captain Kurigakure Anbu, level 60 white silver boss, Sukazan Fubuki. This guy is already the captain of Kurigakure Anbu, but no one seems to know that Captain Anbu can have dual identities, and when he performs tasks outside, he does not need to use the identity of Captain Anbu, the identity of the leader of the 7 people of the original Fog Ninja Sword, better to use. In the morning hall, in addition to the mission of the 2 ninja villages, there are also Konoha Anbu ninjas, Garrison ninjas, and Hyuga scout ninjas. They gathered around the morning hall, and Lu Han was among the Anbu ninjas. Many people present knew that the Konoha ninjas were cold light, but said nothing. This guy is really high. Luhan observed Sukazan Fubuki, and has already begun to consider whether to kill him. But even if he kills him, it can't be now. After all, Konoha has received him. Luhan is not good, he has to do it, also have to wait until Sarutobi Hiruzen is buried. Kurigakure mission. Luhan suddenly narrowed his eyes. He saw something unusual. First of all, an acquaintance. Just behind Sukazan Fubuki, it was a Kurigakure Anbu ninja with a mask, and he couldn't see his face, but Luhan could see his Yuhi name information. Anbu Genius Ninja in Kurigakure Village, Level 50 White Silver Boss, Kisame Hoshigaki. It's that Kisame Hoshigaki. Konoha is 47 years old, he should only be 16 years old. Really super genius. However, people are different. Some ninjas are very strong in their teens, but in their 30s, they are not much stronger than their teens. There is a difference between growing up sooner or later. Beside Kisame Hoshigaki, Luhan saw something even more terrifying. That is a ninja much shorter than 16-year-old Kisame Hoshigaki, maybe only 1 meter 4 tall, thin and small, standing behind Sukazan Fubuki. He is completely small, and in terms of normal human height, that ninja is only equivalent to 10-a-half-old boy of 1 or 2 years old, but his rating has surpassed Sukazan Fubuki. 4th generation Mizukage of Kurigakure Village in the Land of Water, Level 60 Gold Boss, Yagura. It's Mizukage. 3-tailed Jinchuriki Column Force. Here he is. But he did not come as his real identity, but mixed in with the Kurigakure mission as Anbu Little Ninja. Really brave. There is no doubt that his mask is specially made, and the Hyuga family cannot see through. Luhan glanced at the Kurigakure mission, frowning more and more tightly. There are more than 130 ninjas in the Kurigakure mission, most of them are Jonin, more than 20 elite Jonin, 8 super elite, ninja. Counting Sukazan Fubuki with Yagura, there are 3. This is by no means the configuration of the mission. These more than 100 people, although there are not many, they definitely have the ability to destroy the Legion. Call. Luhan suddenly disappeared. Originally, he was on the left side of the morning hall, but he appeared again, but he went to the right side of the morning hall, and he still appeared in the Anbu Ninja. Observe the Sunagakure mission. The leader is a woman in her 50s, about the same age as Kaharu Udatane, with gray-blue hair and a small stature, but she is very imposing. It was during the Second Ninja World War that he was famous for his fierce reputation. Chiyo of Sunagakure Village, although she is a little old at this time, she is recognized as the first puppet master of Sunagakure Village and the first puppet master of the ninja world. Behind Chiyo, there are more than 150 ninjas, and the situation is exactly the same as that of Kurigakure, and there are many masters. Elite Ultra Elite Shadow Ninja has it. But unlike Kurigakure, Kazekage didn't come. The 4th generation of Kazekage Rasa, a genius ninja who is only 27 years old, although in the original book, he was easily assassinated by Orochimaru, and his strength is not recognized, but how can it be simple to become a shadow in his 20s? Characters, no matter what, should exist within the 60th level hierarchy. Luhan observed the 2 missions back and forth, and his heart sank. This is to do something. Most of the ninjas of the 2 major missions wear masks and do not transform chakras. Chakras are used for transformation. If they do not transform, there will be no chakras in the meridians of the body. The Hyuga clan ninjas in the morning hall are not easy to observe. Identify their strengths. 2 major embassies have started Matsuri worship Sarutobi Hiruzen. Let me go, let me go. There was a sudden commotion at the door. Luhan turned his head and saw that it was a 12 or 13-year-old ninja who was charging into the morning hall, but was stopped by someone. Luhan knows him. Might Guy. In the original book, the 8th Inner Gates array was able to hang the Emperor Guy of 6 Paths Madara. At this time in this world, he was only 13 years old. I remember you, I remember you. It's you. Guy shouted at the back of Sukazan Fubuki deep in the morning hall, extremely excited. Kaharu Udatane glanced back and immediately waved, "Take him out." Might Guy was dragged away by two Anbu-janin, and it didn't help that he struggled. Kaharu Udatane's eyes dimmed, but he returned to normal immediately and continued to preside over Matsuri. Could she not know that Might Guy's death was caused by Sukazan Fuguki, but the other party was the messenger? This kind of hatred was not enough for Konoha to attack the messenger. Konoha still wanted to be embarrassed. Chapter 1025-Ups and Downs. 47 years ago, when the Senju clan and the Uchiha clan shook hands and established the Konoha hidden village together, the Sengoku era of the ninja world ended, and the 5 major ninja villages appeared. After that, in the 12th year of Konoha, the first ninja war broke out. In the 32nd year of Konoha, the second ninja war broke out, and in the 45th year of Konoha, the third ninja war broke out. Wars after wars, killings again and again. The 5 major ninja villages in the ninja world sometimes join forces with each other and sometimes kill each other. If you talk about hatred, all of them have hatred. Konoha has a grudge against Kurigakure, Sunagakure, Iwagakure, and Rayan. If he can do whatever he wants for revenge, then the ninja world will return to the Sengoku era again. Some rules can never be broken. For example, the funeral of Sarutobi Hiruzen this time. The war of the ninja world entered a truce, and various countries sent envoys to Matsuri to worship and watch. All can be resolved after Sarutobi Hiruzen is buried. This is the rule. This is also the reason why Chiyo from Sunagakure village dared to come to Konoha village in person. In her capacity, if Konoha village detains people or kills them directly, it will definitely be a huge loss for Sunagakure village. But, really can't do that. 2 major missions. Matsuri worshipped Sarutobi Hiruzen. Luhan didn't read it. He already realized that something was going to happen. Not only what would happen between him and Uchiha Madara, but all the forces in Konoha would be involved in it. They're going to do something. Luhan felt that behind this, Uchiha Madara must be planning everything, not to mention other things. Yagura dared to enter Konoha village in person. It must be arranged by Uchiha Madara, because Yagura is controlled by Uchiha Madara and completely obeys Uchiha Madara. After leaving the Hokage building, Luhan went to the residences of other small country missions. Taki Ninja Village has a problem. A megakure in the mission station of Taki Ninja Village. Of course, only Luhan can judge these. He can see the identity directly, but for Konoha, they can't tell the difference. Others are relatively normal, except for Taki Ninja Village, the most powerful small country, Iron Country. Although there are some experts and strong men, they are all guards within the normal range. After turning around, Luhan returned to the vicinity of the Taki Ninja mission station, stood on a tree and looked at the courtyard, thinking deeply. Taki Ninja Village, 86 ninjas, half of them from a megakure village, 3 shadow ninjas. Luhan muttered in his heart. The strength of Taki Ninja Village should not be underestimated. Although there is a huge gap with the 5 major ninja villages, there are still some strong people. This time, Taki Ninja Village is leading the team. The other 2 shadow ninjas are all from a megakure village. It can be said that the strength of the mission of Taki Ninja Village is not much worse than that of Kurigakure and Sunagakure. After all, it is the power of the 2 villages. Although Hanzo of a megakure village died and fell into civil strife, Luhan imagined that Uchiha Madara could still control it. A megakure village, some ninjas. It is worth mentioning that none of the ninjas in Taki Ninja Village wear masks. Because even if they don't wear masks, those strong men from a megakure village, Konoha ninjas don't know. All ninjas in a megakure village are very mysterious, especially the masters and strong men. They all wear masks during missions, and now they take off their masks, and no one is there recognize their faces. Taki Shinobi, Kurigakure, Sunagakure. If the 3 forces and the 3 missions work together, let alone destroying Konoha, who has not yet returned to the main battle army, at least it will cause heavy damage to Konoha and shake the foundation. Namikaze Minato has not recovered from his injuries. Although Jiraiya and Orochimaru are there, and Iwagakure village has not arrived. Uchiha Madara has not arrived. Luhan's heart sank. Things have gotten extremely complicated. If Uchiha Madara is behind everything, then if I make a move, I'm not being cheap. Luhan thought about it, and suddenly his face became certain. If so, then let Tsunade. Then. At 4 o'clock in the afternoon, it was already dusk. The Iwagakure mission arrived at Konoha village, and was still received by Kaharu Udatane himself, accompanied by Namikaze Minato, and the guards behind Kaharu Udatane were more than 200 people. In fact, that was beyond the scope of the escort, and was simply showing his strength to the Iwagakure mission. Different from other ninja villages, Iwagakure village is the ninja village that mainly fought against Konoha village in this ninja war. If you talk about hatred, it is really a deadly revenge. Matsuri worships Sarutobi Hiruzen. Kaharu Udatane won't treat them like that, but at least lighten their muscles. Iwagakure village's visit to Konoha this time can be described as extremely arrogant. Different from Sunagakure and Kurigakure, although Iwagakure village brought a lot of masters and strong men, but only a few people hide their identities, the others are obvious. They are not afraid of Konoha's heart, because the two sides are at war. Iwagakure the mission is worried that it will be detained by Konoha, and it is reasonable to send more guards to protect the principal of the mission. Therefore, Iwagakure village has many masters and strong people this time, which can be said to be arrogant or cautious. Team Leader, Lois. Just the super elite Jonin of Iwagakure village, in his early 30s, but he has another identity, the son of Tsuchikage. He is the eldest son of Tsuchikage Onoki, the third generation of the village of Iwagakure. Luhan secretly observed, but did not find Onoki. However, Luhan felt that Onoki must be here, but he just hadn't entered Konoha village yet. He even sent his son. If he wants to do something and doesn't come by himself, wouldn't he use his son as cannon fodder? The sun sets in the west, and the sky is like blood. On March 21st, the 47th year of Konoha, the hidden village of Konoha, the country of fire, was surging, and the dark tide was surging. Luhan suddenly decided to do one thing. After returning to Kaharu Udatane's house and saying hello to Tsunade, Luhan locked himself in the upstairs guest room, not allowing any disturbance, including Tsunade, and the savage shield soldiers also let him channel out and put him outside the door as a guard. Standing by the wall, Luhan waved his hand. Slam, la. Thousands of objects appeared out of nowhere and piled up into a hill on the floor. This is all the drop rewards Luhan got for killing White Zetsu, Hanzo, and Sarutobi Hiruzen twice. Chapter 1026-Unprecedented Inventory. Since killing Hanzo in the land of Vortex, Luhan has not counted the rewards. One is that there is always something going on. Of course, this is not the whole reason. No matter how busy Luhan wants to take some time, it is still okay. There is another reason why he doesn't know what to gain, because he is not in a hurry to improve his strength. In other words, he did not intend to improve his strength before resurrecting White Fang. Because resurrecting White Fang, Luhan will lose 10% of his strength. The stronger he is, the more he will lose. For example, if his strength index is 10, he will lose 1 point of strength. If his strength index is 20, he needs to lose 2 points. Because of this, he never mentioned the thought of counting. And this time, because of Sarutobi Hiruzen's public funeral and burial, Konoha village will meet. It can be said that all the forces in the entire ninja world will participate in it, and Uchiha Madara may also appear in Konoha. Luhan suddenly felt that his strength seems to be a little insufficient. One-on-one, Luhan believes that in this era, he can beat the whole world. But this time, obviously no one will follow the one-on-one rule. If Uchiha Madara really wants to do something, Kurigakure, Taki Shinobu, Sunagakure, and Iwagakure will join forces. Konoha will definitely not be able to carry it. After all, the main battle legion is outside, not yet. Return. Although Luhan didn't intend to be cheap to defend Konoha, at least he must have the ability to protect himself and Tsunade. The floor is full of thousands of falling objects. Luhan glanced at it and was a little excited. This would be an unprecedented count. White Zetsu was cage level. Luhan had killed 3 times in a row. Except for the first count, the last 2 counts were not counted. Sarutobi Hiruzen, this is beyond ordinary cage level existence. Drop reward for killing enemy targets 4 times. Although there is no first kill, the comprehensive reward will definitely surpass any previous one. Psychic. Luhan suddenly hand seal. Bang. The white smoke rose, and the shadow cat appeared on Luhan's shoulder. Musashi is still outside the village. Meow. Okay, I'll give up this mission for now, and give you a new mission. Search the 100-kilometer area around Konoha village. If you find any targets, keep them in mind, including their body and face, and report back to me. Meow. After the shadow cat disappeared, Luhan sat down with his knees crossed and began to quickly sort and count the items. The total number of dropped items was over 2,000, and half of them were from Sarutobi Hiruzen, because Sarutobi Hiruzen mastered too many ninjutsu. Even if killing him is not the first kill, according to the probability, the more spells his master has, the more he will drop. An existence that can be called a ninjutsu professor, Sarutobi Hiruzen is probably the ninja with the most master ninjutsu in this ninja world. Although the drops obtained by killing Hanzo are not as many as those obtained by Sarutobi Hiruzen, they are still a lot, and the drops obtained by killing White Zetsu twice in a row are the least. The first phase of the inventory lasted half an hour. Luhan just classified all the items and picked out the ingots. There were only more than 300 ingots in total, which only accounted for a small part of the total dropped items. Ninja gear, nearly 200 pieces, including 5 rare weapons, 7 penultimate weapons, and the rest are all fine weapons. Potions, 12 treasure potions, 11 spiritual potions, and the rest are big blue bottles and big Yuhi bottles, totaling 153. After counting these things, Luhan spent another hour. All the items he had checked were put aside, not used, nor returned to the space backpack. Next is to count the most important drops, scrolls. There are more than 1,600 scrolls. There is no doubt that most of them were dropped by Sarutobi Hiruzen. Sarutobi Hiruzen has mastered almost all non-secret and forbidden technique ninjutsu in Konoha. Knowing how many ninjutsus there are, these are just a small part of his master. Even Luhan, as a ninja who has mastered thousands of kinds of ninjutsu, would not dare to say that the number of master ninjutsu must exceed Sarutobi Hiruzen. Counting the scrolls is a very complicated process, because Luhan has to look at them one by one, so he can't just glance at them and put them aside. The main reason is that there are Hanzo and White Zetsu's drops, and the former master has many strange spells. And the latter, it may be related to Mokuden, wood style, or Senju Hashirama. Simply counting and classifying these scrolls by level may make Luhan miss some more useful spells. Dong dong. Han, it's time to eat. With the knock on the door, Tsunade's voice sounded outside the door. Luhan looked up and saw that it was already dark outside, and he didn't know how long it had been into the night. Is Lord Koharu back? Luhan asked. It will come, and Orochimaru is also here, Tsunade said outside the door. Well, then you can eat, I have something to do here, don't wait for me. Luhan said. Tsunade didn't say anything else. She knew that her husband locked herself in the house, either for spiritual practice, or for something extremely important, and this kind of thing, no matter what, was more important than a meal. Feeling Tsunade's breath away, Luhan lowered his head again and continued to count. Meow. The shadow cat appeared out of thin air and squatted on Luhan's shoulder. What did you find? Luhan asked hurriedly. 80 kilometers to the southwest, there is a group of people in the valley. There are 37 people in total. The 2 of them are headed. One has a short yuhi nose. The other has hair and wine yuhi color. Shadow Cat began to describe in detail what I saw in the valley, focused on the situation of the 2 leaders. With the super high intelligence of Shadow Cat, it is easier to tell who is the leader of a group of people. Yuhi nose. The young man with yuhi's hair color. Okay. After listening to Shadow Cat's report, Luhan knew who the two were. Village Sandine Tsuchikajinoki. And the latter, it should be Kazekage Rasa, the fourth generation of Sunagakure village. They all came. Watch them, they enter Konoha, come back and tell me right away. Luhan said. Meow. Shadow Cat called out and disappeared out of thin air. Luhan closed his mind, lowered his head again, and picked up one from the pile of scrolls. His pupils shrank as soon as his eyes focused on it. Secret Art, Mayfly Art. Chapter 1027-Reward. Reward. Luhan held the scroll displayed as the technique of the Mayfly, and his mind was quite subtle. For a long time, the Mayfly technique was a technique that gave Luhan a headache. White Zetsu relied on this technique. It can be said to be able to traverse the ninja world, relying on organic matter to travel underground and through plants, allowing White Zetsu to advance and retreat freely. The ability to never get caught. Luhan used to be unable to handle him. But then he still thought of a way to restrain the Mayfly technique. In fact, Luhan had long thought that if he could possess the Mayfly technique, although it would not improve his fighting ability, it would be of great benefit to him. He gave Orochimaru White Zetsu's corpse fragments for him to study when the Senju Hashirama cells were transplanted. Luhan thought at that time that once the transplant was successful in himself, he might have abilities such as Mokuden, wood style, and Mayfly technique. Unexpectedly, this technique actually exploded. Killing White Zetsu 3 times, and being able to explode the Mayfly technique, Luhan felt that it was also due to luck. After all, it was not the first kill. The technique of the Mayfly. Luhan recited in his heart, and abruptly unfolded the scroll. This was the first scroll he used after counting many scrolls today. Closing his eyes, Luhan carefully felt the information brought to his body after using the scroll. Not just information. To use the Mayfly technique, one must have a special physique, and this scroll is already changing Luhan's physique. After a while, Luhan just opened his eyes, ran chakra to feel the changes in his body, and then began to count again. He's even more enthusiastic about counting. Whether it is White Zetsu, Hanzo, or Sarutobi Hiruzen, they have all mastered some extremely special and very strange techniques. Needless to say, White Zetsu, as the leader of a Megakure village, Hanzo has personally trained a large number of assassins and dead men with the master's strange abilities. Naturally, some masters are needed, and Sarutobi Hiruzen. The words of a ninjutsu professor are enough. Only these special and bizarre techniques would be considered worth using by Luhan now. If it was only a powerful technique of attack and defense, Luhan didn't need it. He didn't lack those abilities. Of the more than 1,600 scrolls, Luhan has counted about 400. When he counted more than 500, he found a very valuable scroll again. Swordsmanship Flash. This is Hanzo's strongest attack on swordsmanship. Although it is named swordsmanship, Hanzo uses a sickle. From this point of view, this technique should actually be universal to swords, and it does not even limit the shape of swords. Luhan has been in this world for more than 10 years, and his greatest achievement is to create his own swordsmanship. He believes that his swordsmanship is already the strongest in the ninja world, but it does not mean that he has reached the limit. So Luhan is very interested in this technique. He expects that when his master swordsmanship flash, he will integrate with his own swordsmanship, and there will be a qualitative breakthrough. Unroll the scroll, use. Keep counting. In fact, Luhan has already found more than a dozen scrolls that should be used, but the ones that can make him decide to use them immediately, so far, only the Mayfly technique and the sword technique. Consider. When the count reached about 1,000, Luhan stopped again, took a scroll, and looked at it seriously. This is a very scary technique. There is no doubt that this art comes from Sarutobi Hiruzen. Because Sarutobi Hiruzen almost killed Luhan with this technique. Sealing technique Triple Seal. Once this technique is hit, it has the effect of an instant kill, and there is basically no solution, because the person sealed by this technique will disappear into this world, and there is no target to lift the seal. There is no doubt that performing this technique requires a lot of chakra, but for Lu Han, chakra is not a problem at all. Expand. Use it up. He started counting again, and after reading a few, Lu Han stopped again. The art of white zetsu. Barter changes. In terms of characteristics, this technique can be described as pervert. It can be said to be one of the peaks of camouflage. Its effect is to absorb the opponent's chakra and analyze it, so as to become the opponent's appearance. White zetsu. For the third time, white zetsu used this technique to infiltrate Kumobukuro village and led Uzumaki Kushina away in public. Do not hesitate. Use it up. Continue. The night is getting darker. The speed of Lu Han's counting is sometimes fast and sometimes slow. He can glance at many scrolls, but for some scrolls, he has to think about how to deal with them, and even ask the elves, what is the use of that technique? Blackjack at night. Lu Han finally completed the inventory of all the scrolls. Only a few were used directly, and there were more than 30 that were planned to be used aside, including 5 types of sealing techniques, 16 types of secret techniques, and 8 types of S-level forbidden techniques, as well as 5 body arts and 1 psychic spell. Great harvest this time. But Lu Han is still a little dissatisfied. White zetsu still has 2 pervert-level abilities that have not been revealed. One is the spore technique, which can create an independent consciousness clone, and the other is the ineffective spell seal ability. Sealed. Lu Han pondered, and glanced at the scrolls that were divided into several piles. Lu Han had ideas on the disposal of these scrolls. In addition to some A-level S-level ninjutsu, whether to recycle or use, there is also the question of whether to give it away. Of course, it can only be given to one person, and that is Lu Han's son, Ali. In fact, Lu Han didn't want to pull the seedlings to help them grow. But after instructing Ali to practice many times, Lu Han felt that Ali was a little too biased. Except for Master Hiraishin's technique, he only had Master's physical skills, so he could easily suffer in battle. Tsunade and Hyuga Luo. There is no way for Ning to teach him a taijutsu ninja, because the two of them are taijutsu ninjas. Lu Han wanted to give Ali some scrolls, especially this time. This idea was particularly strong. Because these scrolls are useless to Lu Han, a large number of C-rank B-rank ninjutsu scrolls, these relatively low-level combat abilities for Lu Han, are also a waste, because the value is not enough, they can't be recycled. Why waste it? Forget it, think about it later. Lu Han shook his head and looked away. There are still more than a dozen items that have not been counted, all of which are special drops. Lu Han picked up the silver gray ring at random, looked closer, and there were words on it. The Ring of Infinite Resurrection. Chapter 1028-Evolution. The Ring of Infinite Resurrection. Lu Han's eyes lit up. Elf. Where did this ring come from? Ding. Subversive 3665 killed White Zetsu 3 times within a limited time to achieve a hidden achievement. This is an achievement reward. The elf replied. It turns out. I remember that achievement. Lu Han muttered to himself, looking at the infinite resurrection to the ring repeatedly, tossing and turning. The ring was silver gray. Rather than a ring, it was more like a ring, with strange signs on it. The incantation lines have unknown meaning. Elf, what is the effect of this ring? Lu Han asked again. Infinite resurrection. Does that mean he will never die again? Lu Han couldn't believe such a high-level reward. The Ring of Infinite Resurrection, its effect is equivalent to the primary resurrection scroll. Disruptor 3665 only needs to wear this ring. Whenever he dies, this ring will trigger the effect to resurrect Disruptor 3665. The primary resurrection scroll, doesn't that mean? Although the effect of this ring can revive me, it will make me lose everything I have now and return to the original state. Lu Han asked again. Yes, the elf continued, but you have to remind Subversive 3665 that you have Master Subversive's finishing move, Sleep. The precondition for the final move of sleeping is that the disruptor must have a resurrection scroll of any level, and this ring of infinite resurrection, which can replace the effect of resurrection scroll. Quote. Oh, Lu Han nodded slowly with a long tone. I see. This ring of infinite resurrection is not used to revive him infinitely again and again, but to be used in conjunction with the sleeping ability. To activate deep sleep, you must have the resurrection scroll, and now that Lu Han has this ring, he doesn't need to exchange the diamond badge for the resurrection scroll. At this moment, Lu Han's magic ring of 10,000 skills was wearing on the ring finger of his left hand, and Lu Han put on the ring of infinite resurrection on his left middle finger. Ding! Subversive 3665 has worn the ring of infinite resurrection, and the attributes are related. There are more than a dozen items falling on the ground. They are all very special things. There are 3 kinds of non-weapon ninja gear, a mask, a pair of gloves, and a pair of wrist guards, all of which are penultimate level ninja gear. Non-weapon ninja gear of this level will rarely fall. There are 9 other drops, all of the same item. Shard of the Master's Blade. Elf, the blade of domination is. Lu Han asked in his heart. The epic artifact that surpasses rare weapons. Reminds Subversive 3665 that you need to collect a total of 108 pieces of this kind before you can exchange this weapon in Subversive space. This fragment cannot be recycled or destroyed. Elf said. Beyond rarity, Lu Han was shocked. He still remembered that the cheapest price for an epic artifact beyond rarity was 3,000 ingots. As for the most expensive, Lu Han didn't know how expensive it was. Who fell this? Another achievement reward for triple kill White Zetsu. This shard can only be obtained by completing hidden achievements. To be precise, you must complete a difficult hidden achievement before dropping epic artifact fragments. Ah, Lu Han's expression is not very good. This setting is no longer an ordinary pit. He has been in the ninja world for more than 10 years, not counting the 10 years of sleep, but also 7 or 8 years. Lu Han has accomplished only a handful of achievements, and as for the hidden achievements of high difficulty, it seems that because of this, he has killed the same target 3 times in a row. There are only 9 fragments now, and a total of 108 are needed. Isn't this bullshit? Ding! It has been detected that the rare weapon of the Subversive 3665 has been born with a weak spirituality, and it is evolving to a higher level. Ding! Remind the Subversive 3665. The Subversive 3665 can use the Blade of Astonishment to devour higher level weapons or weapon fragments, thereby accelerating the evolution. Lu Han blinked blankly. Devour. Evolution. Accelerate. You mean, if I want, I can use the Blade of Astonishment to devour the fragments of the Blade of Master, so that the Blade of Astonishment can be upgraded? Lu Han asked with consideration. Yes, as long as the Subversive 3665 is willing, it is willing to do so. Of course I am willing, of course I am willing to. I don't know how long it will take to save 108 fragments. Lu Han complained, and then asked quickly, how to swallow it. Pull out the Sword of Astonishment, feel the power of the Sword of Astonishment, devour things in your mind, whatever your heart desires. Lu Han did it. Holding the Sword of Astonishment, he slowly swept over the shards of the Master's blade placed on the floor, thinking to himself, the space in front of the blade of the Sword of Astonishment suddenly left a hole, and then turned into Uzumaki, swallowing it. Uzumaki. The 9 pieces of the Blade of Domination began to vibrate at the same time, emitting a little golden light, and were swallowed by Uzumaki. Gradually, all the pieces turned into golden light. The Blade of Astonishment also began to change, mainly reflected in the blade, which is enough to be used as a mirror. The bright blade, with the golden light pouring into the Uzumaki, slowly appeared dark golden lines. That pattern looks like thorns. Devoured. The thorn and purple pattern extends forward from the handle to the middle of the blade. Lu Han clenched the Jinghong blade and tried to wave it twice. He felt that the Jinghong blade seemed to have become lighter, more like a part of his body. Lu Han's hand suddenly stopped, followed by another shock. Hum. A terrifying knife light erupted in a narrow area. Lu Han's knife was slashing the air, but it almost tore apart the space. 3,796 knives in an instant. It's more than twice as fast. Lu Han smiled, and it was only at this moment that he was shocked to find that the biggest gain in today's inventory was not those ninjutsu scrolls, but the swallowed and evolved ones. The astonishing blade indirectly improves Lu Han's knife speed, but for Lu Han, speed is equal to power. The same target can withstand 5,000 knives in 1 second, and withstand 10,000 knives in 1 second, the impact is completely different. Okay, very good, Lu Han whispered. In fact, he really wanted to go out and find a place to try his current limit knife speed, but it was inconvenient in Konoha village, and he couldn't run out of Konoha away from Tsunade. Uchiha Madara, come quickly. Lu Han stroked his fingers over the blade and muttered to himself. Chapter 1029 Why are you doing this? Sheath the knife. Lu Han also looked at the more than 1,000 ninjutsu scrolls stacked on the floor. After careful consideration, he first used up the more than 30 scrolls that he could use, and then piled up the A-rank S-rank ninjutsu scrolls. Here, pick out some and recycle them. For equipment, except for masks, gloves, and bracers, all other items that can be recycled or recycled. In this way, Lu Han's total number of ingots surged to more than 3,500. There are still more than 1,400 ninjutsu scrolls, ranging from C-rank ninjutsu to S-rank ninjutsu. Lu Han put away all these scrolls and has decided to give them to his son. But I can't give him all of it directly. I can take it little by little, maybe it can be used as a reward. If Ali can achieve the small goal set by Lu Han in his practice, he will give him some. Have too much negative impact. It was late at night. When Lu Han went downstairs, Tsunade was still talking to Koharu Udatane. I left some dishes for you in the kitchen, I'm going to warm it up. Tsunade saw Lu Han coming down, got up and said, and then hurried to the kitchen. When he passed by Lu Han, the little girl's tiptoe was on Lu Han's face kissed. Master Koharu. Lu Han walked to the table and sat down, and greeted Koharu Udatane. Lord Hangwang, do you feel anything wrong? Koharu Udatane asked cautiously, even lowering his voice subconsciously. Huh, what? Lu Han glanced at Koharu Udatane in surprise, then asked calmly, what do you mean? Kurigakure mission and Sunagakure mission. Many ninjas use special ninja masks, even Byakugan can't see through. Now Bailey has begun to compare their physical characteristics with Anbu's intelligence to investigate their identities. Oh, Mr. Koharu has anything else to discover? Lu Han asked again. Not yet. Koharu Udatane shook his head and added, however, in order to prevent accidents, I have notified the vanguard of the 1st Main Battle Corps to return quickly, and it is expected that they will be back in Konoha tomorrow afternoon. Yeah, Lu Han nodded, paused and sighed again, I hope nothing happens. After Sarutobi Hiruzen is buried tomorrow, I will leave with Tsunade right away, I hope everything goes well. I hope so. Koharu Udatane also sighed, then got up. Let's do this first, Lord Hangwang, I'll go upstairs to rest, you should rest earlier too. Koharu Udatane hurried away. Lu Han looked at her back as she went upstairs, and didn't withdraw his gaze until the figure disappeared, squinting and thinking. He didn't tell Koharu Udatane what he found, because he didn't want to be cheap, and besides, he already had a clear and definite idea on how to deal with this matter. Tsunade came out of the kitchen with an oversized tray in his hand, and placed plates of steaming dishes at the table. He smiled and said, eat it while it's still hot, and I'll serve it for you. Then he turned around and was about to leave. Lu Han suddenly grabbed Tsunade's wrist and pulled him hard, pulling Tsunade into his arms. Yeah, why are you doing? Koharu-sama isn't sleeping yet. I have something to tell you. Lu Han said this very seriously, hugging Tsunade, but he didn't do anything to her. What's the matter? Tsunade was stunned, sitting in Lu Han's arms, subconsciously hooking Lu Han's neck. That's it. Lu Han came close to Tsunade's ear and lowered his voice. Tomorrow, Sarutobi Hiruzen will be buried, maybe. This time, the Kurigakure Sunagakure, Iwagakure, and the Takian village mission will all be sent. And Uchiha Madara, so I think. Luhan briefly explained the situation. Tsunade's whole body was frightened, and his face became very horrified. Now Konoha only has the garrison. Sarutobi Hiruzen died, and a group of masters and powerhouses died that day. Those powers, Konoha is more likely to be destroyed. How could they possibly target Konoha at the same time? Uchiha Madara. There must be a master, or the link that unites them, Uchiha Madara. He has a way. Then, will you save Konoha? Tsunade grabbed Luhan's hand violently, looking at Luhan with a nervous look in his eyes with a begging tone. If it really happens, it's not me who can save Konoha. Luhan said. Tsunade's eyes suddenly darkened. She couldn't directly request or ask Luhan to do this, because even if Luhan made a move, it would be a near-death situation. She couldn't have pushed her husband into the fire pit. You are the one who can save Konoha. But Luhan said again. Tsunade was stunned, then raised his head to look at Luhan again. Me? How can I? I don't have that kind of strength. Namikaze Minato and Orochimaru are better than me, even if I didn't mean it that way. Then you are. You can beg me. Luhan's words seemed like a joke, but he actually showed a smile. Tsunade blinked at Luhan with a stiff expression. She didn't like this joke. She turned her head to the side with a small face, and was angry and ignored him. You can really beg me, as long as you say such things in public, it's not a bad thing for you or me. Tsunade, who tilted her head to the side, was stunned again. She seemed to understand something. Luhan was not joking, but said it seriously, and if Tsunade really did that, what would be the benefit to Luhan? Tsunade has NC, but for Tsunade, the benefits are too great. When Konoha suffered disaster, it was Tsunade, the former Konoha Sannin, who was not afraid of the danger and went head-to-head. When she found that she could not solve the crisis, she chose to ask for her husband, or even forcing her husband, the legendary ninja Hangwang strikes to save Konoha. This way, for Konoha, it is not the cold light that saves Konoha, but Tsunade. Tsunade's reputation and prestige in Konoha will therefore reach sky-high heights. As for the one who went all out, it was Luhan. Tsunade suddenly turned his head to look at Luhan, and hesitated again. Why? Do you want to do this? Because I think you can become Hokage in the future. Luhan smiled. Chapter 1030 He came. A new day, the 8th day of Sarutobi Hiruzen's death, the day of the burial. The tulle curtains covered the windows like waterfalls, and the morning sun filtered through the pale blue, leaving creases in the house. The room was dark, and on the soft floor covered with a thick blanket, the beautiful woman with thick muscles and picturesque brows was still asleep, with tears at the corners of her eyes and a sweet smile at the corners of her mouth. Luhan sat up from the soft slump, the quilt slipped from him, and the exposed solid arms seemed to still reflect the fluorescent light of sweat. Alas! Luhan sighed for a while. He is so tired. Because Tsunade was touched last night, and then the two went crazy. As the saying goes, there is no plowed field, only exhausted cows. Luhan's exhaustion is not enough, but there are still some. It is hard to lose the grace of beauty. Cold. Tsunade woke up, got up sideways, hugged Luhan's back from behind, rubbed his eyes dazedly, and blew into Luhan's ear with a smile. It's time to get up. Luhan turned back with a smile and pecked Tsunade's face. Tsunade also kissed Luhan back, then lowered his head and pulled Luhan's hand, and then raised his head after a pause, although he smiled, but his eyes were serious and said, Han, I thought about it, I don't need you for it. It's your honor that I do that, and I don't want you to get hurt, and if possible, it's better if nothing happens. Tsunade. Luhan also became serious and held Tsunade's shoulders. Actually, things are not what you think. Uchiha Madara will come. I will definitely have a fight with him. No matter what time or place, whoever is present, as long as I see him, I will try to kill him as much as possible. So, Under this premise, I will do it today no matter what. In this case, by the way, I will give you a chance to re-establish your image. To me say, it's all good. Konoha can be my enemy, but not yours, because then you'll be dangerous. Quote. You don't want Konoha's ninjas to think that you are trying to please them. Tsunade seemed to see through Luhan's thoughts. It's not to please. Luhan denied it, and immediately said again, okay. That's it, everything will be done as we said. ... This morning, the entire Konoha village has entered the highest garrison level. All the ninjas of all the tribes in the Konoha village have joined in today's affairs, including the ninjas of the internal affairs forces of the major tribes, who are also arranged to participate in patrols. The atmosphere in Konoha also became tense. There must be no surprises today. Because too many great people have arrived in Konoha and are preparing to observe the funeral of Sarutobi Hiruzen, the Fire Country daimyo is also there. The ambassadors of the daimyo from various countries are also there, and there are more than 10 shinobi villages in the ninja world. If something happens today, it will definitely be a major diplomatic event that affects the direction of the entire world. Today, all cage-level existences in Konoha village, including some old guys in their 70s and 80s, have all appeared in various public places in Konoha, and they are used to deter the enemies who may be secretly sabotaging. Hokage Building, Meeting Room. Kaharu Yuditane is presiding over a brief meeting. Today was not supposed to be a meeting. It is too busy, but suddenly the information is urgent. The Kumogakure mission was attacked 200 kilometers north of Konoha village. There were more than 70 people in the mission, and half of them were killed or injured. Because the number of mysterious people who attacked was too many and their strength was too strong, the surviving mission ninjas could only break through, and now everyone was scattered. 20 minutes ago, the Hyuga ninja patrolling outside the Konoha village found the Kumogakure ninja who had fled to the vicinity of the Konoha village and was seriously injured and unconscious in the forest. Konoha only knew about Akatsuki. The purpose of Kaharu Yuditane's emergency meeting was to ask for advice. Does Konoha want to send someone to take a look? This decision must be made carefully. The Land of Fire is the territory of Konoha village. If Konoha doesn't send someone to see it, but gets the news but sees no help, it will be a diplomatic crisis. Now the situation in the ninja world, Konoha is at a disadvantage. The only big ninja village that is friendly to Konoha is Kumogakure. If I offend Kumogakure this time, we can't draw enough people, and if there are fewer people, we will die. Homura Mitokado said calmly. Why didn't I go and have a look? I'll go quickly and come back quickly. Namikaze Minato said. Not many people attended the meeting, and they all expressed their opinions one after another. Kaharu Yuditane looked at Namikaze Minato, then turned around and pondered. No, Minato, you can't leave, the village still needs you to maintain. So, Kaharu Yuditane took out a pen and paper from his arms and quickly wrote after a few lines of words. He found Anbu Ninja who was guarding the door, folded the note and said, go to my house and give it to Lord Hangwang. Yes. Anbu Ninja took the lead and left. Kaharu. Homura Mitokado asked. He didn't understand what Kaharu Yuditane meant. Let Lord Hangwang decide, this way. Kaharu Yuditane sighed. She was helpless. She knew that doing this was unkind, but she couldn't think of another way. Let Hangwang decide. Hangwang said to send people. Konoha can only send people, but if Hangwang says no help, then Konoha does not send people, and it is not Konoha's responsibility. Relationship, it's not a big deal. ... Inside the house of Kaharu Yuditane. Luhan took the folded note from Anbu Ninja, glanced quickly, frowned slightly, and said, go back and tell Lord Kaharu, don't worry, it's a trap. Yes. Anbu Ninja respectfully saluted Luhan, then disappeared. What's wrong? A soft voice came from behind, Tsunade asked as he walked out of Konoha. It's the Kumogakure mission. Luhan turned around and said. Meow. With the sharp meowing, the shadow cat appeared out of thin air on Luhan's shoulder, and then fell down as if it was unstable. Luhan stiffened very quickly and grabbed it, only to find that the shadow cat was injured. Meow. He's here. He's here. That white-haired old guy was in danger, and I was almost killed by him. Shadow cat screamed sharply. Lu Han was shocked. A dazzling light flashed in his eyes. Uchiha Madara. He came. Chapter 1031-time and space end. The shadow cat's condition looks a bit bad. The furry is a cute thing that emits fluorescent light. At this time, the hair is not only messy, but also has black marks. It seems to have been burned by the flame, and its breath is extremely unstable, and its eyes are very unstable. It also lost the bright color that it should have, and was full of exhaustion. Take me there, Lu Han said quickly, and glanced at Tsunade again. Go find Jiraiya and Orochimaru. Stay with them, don't walk around. Meow. Shadow cat called out and disappeared. Lu Han disappeared. Tsunade didn't even have time to say a word to Lu Han, but she understood the meaning of killing Uchiha Madara to Lu Han. After Lu Han disappeared, she returned to the house without hesitation. After a while, Tsunade went out again, but she had already changed, wearing a ninja suit and all equipment. She is ready for battle. Outside the village of Konoha, in the western forest. The shadow cat squatted on Lu Han's shoulder to guide Lu Han, while Lu Han himself was moving at super high speed, so fast that he seemed to lose his shadow, and only the wind whistled through the forest. Yuying, how are you? Lu Han asked when moving China at a high speed. I was almost killed by him, but fortunately, I avoided. Shadow cat said aggrievedly. It came to this world, and it was the first time it encountered such a situation and was injured for the first time. Although the shadow cat is a time and space ninja, but the level has not even reached the cage level after all, it is a blessing to be able to escape from Uchiha Madara, who has mastered the power of Master Yin-Yang Escape and 6 paths. Huh, on your forehead, what is that? Lu Han glanced at it unintentionally, but noticed that there was a faint golden mark between the eyes on the purple shadow cat's head, which looked like a very small one. Willow leaves, which were pure purple before, did not have this trace. It's the mark of the end of time and space. The end of time and space. What is that? It's just an ability. The shadow cat was hesitant, as if he didn't want to tell Lu Han the meaning of the end of time and space. Lu Han frowned slightly, glanced at the shadow cat, and asked in his heart, Elf, what happened to the shadow? End of time and space. Shadow cat's only forbidden technique as the master of time and space ninja, can also be said to be the strongest ability. Once the end of time and space is activated, time will stop because of this, but the shadow cat that activates end of time and space cannot hurt anyone. Target, because it becomes a spirit body. Quote. Time stops. It has such a strong ability. But why doesn't it want to tell me? Lu Han was very puzzled. Although Shadow Cat has a naughty temperament, there is no need to hide this kind of thing. The ghost cat can only activate the end of time and space 3 times in its life. Each time it is activated, it will leave a golden mark on its forehead. After 3 times, it will completely turn into a soul body and die. It turns out. Lu Han understood all of a sudden. No wonder, no wonder. Is the little guy afraid of worrying about it? Taking another look at the shadow cat, Lu Han suddenly stopped. Why don't you go, just over there, over there? The shadow cat yelled anxiously, pointing to the west with its little paws. Heal you first, don't move. Lu Han said and grabbed the shadow cat, squatted down and gently placed the shadow cat on the grass. Lu Han immediately sat down cross-legged, his hands folded, hand seal. Master Lu Han has the original creation technique, with super healing effect, but that technique is too painful. If it is used on the shadow cat, it is so small that Lu Han is very worried that it will faint. After many hand seals in a row, Lu Han performed general medical ninjutsu. All of them were A-level ninjutsu. S-level medical ninjutsu was too rare, or in other words, there were too few masters-level medical ninjas. I haven't obtained the S-level medical ninjutsu with direct healing effect. Sarutobi Hiruzen is a master, but Lu Han's killing him was not the first kill, so it didn't come out. Shadow Cat's injuries were not as severe as Lu Han imagined. Its weakness is mainly from the sequelae of the end of time and space, and the wounds on its body were healed after Lu Han used A-level medical ninja many times. Bring Shadow Cat and hit the road again. Not long after. 60 kilometers west of Konoha village, there was still a vast forest. Lu Han came to the place where Uchiha Madara shot the Shadow Cat. There were very few traces of the battle. Because the contact between the two sides was very short, the Shadow Cat would have fled immediately. Escape, then it is dead, it has no ability to fight with Uchiha Madara at all. Uchiha Madara was gone and no one else was nearby. The insight map is fully open and remains open. Yuying, you go back to Konoha, go to Tsunade, don't walk around, if Tsunade is in danger, channel me back. Lu Han said. Meow. Shadow Cat responded, dodging and disappearing. Lu Han took a deep breath and disappeared. Super fast movement. Searching like crazy. Now the most direct way to solve today's problem is to find Uchiha Madara immediately, fight with him and kill him. As long as Uchiha Madara is dead, those people such as Yagura, Rasa, Onoki, etc. will fall and scatter. They are united together. Uchiha Madara is the bond, killing Uchiha Madara is the key. After frantically searching for nearly an hour, relying on the large inspection range of the insight map, Lu Han walked around the Konoha village. He even found the whereabouts of Onoki and others, but there was no Uchiha Madara. Damn! Lu Han appeared in the forest in the east of Konoha village, looking up at the position of the sun through the cracks in the branches of the trees. Until Sarutobi Hiruzen is buried. Uchiha Madara on the surface, so he is probably underground. The mayfly technique. Lu Han directly merged into the tree, followed the organic matter in the tree and dived into the ground, and began a frantic search for the underground world. In this way, another hour passed. Still haven't found Uchiha Madara. The underground world is too big, the surface is just a plane, and the underground is countless layers. Lu Han was already getting irritable. 11 noon. Lu Han was still wandering underground, digging into the ground for 100 meters along the roots of trees, and suddenly his eyes lit up. He entered a cave deep underground. Huge cave with torches. Gedo Mazo, demonic statue of the outer path, stands silent in the center of the cave. Chapter 1032-Fight Uchiha Madara again. Saw Gedo Mazo, demonic statue of the outer path. Lu Han turned his attention to the insight map, but the cave did not show any other determinable targets. Gedo Mazo, demonic statue of the outer path, doesn't count, because the current Gedo Mazo, demonic statue of the outer path, is not conscious, it's there, motionless, like a dead thing. The Gedo Mazo, demonic statue of the outer path, at this time was not an independent existence, it was the body of the 10 tails, just a shell. For Uchiha Madara, he is now just an artifact that can prolong his life. Uchiha Madara is not in this cave. Black Zetsu isn't there either. Uchiha Madara put Gedo Mazo, demonic statue of the outer path, here, apparently for psychic convenience. He may have done other things himself, and when the battle begins, he will place Gedo Mazo, demonic statue of the outer path, channel the past. Since Uchiha Madara needs Gedo Mazo, demonic statue of the outer path, to stay alive, he must not be too far from Gedo Mazo, demonic statue of the outer path. But this, so-called, is not far. It is likely to be a distance of several kilometers and tens of kilometers. For Uchiha Madara or Lu Han, this is really not a very long distance. Call. Lu Han appeared out of nowhere in front of Gedo Mazo, demonic statue of the outer path, looking up at this huge monster-like existence, squinting slightly. What should I do? Didn't find Uchiha Madara, but found Gedo Mazo, demonic statue of the outer path, also a surprise for Lu Han. However, he seems to be unable to do anything, because no matter what he does to Gedo Mazo, demonic statue of the outer path, Uchiha Madara may sense it, and then directly channel Gedo Mazo, demonic statue of the outer path, away. But to completely destroy Gedo Mazo, demonic statue of the outer path, directly, Lu Han does not have such strength. In the original book, Gedo Mazo, demonic statue of the outer path, was damaged. Kakashi used Kamui to twist off the arm of Geto Mazo, demonic statue of the outer path, and Luhan also damaged Geto Mazo, demonic statue of the outer path. Path but damage is one thing, complete destruction is another. There is not much to do at all, or Uchiha Madara will not give him such a chance at all. Luhan only had one chance to attack. Uchiha Madara would have noticed it the first time Geto Mazo, demonic statue of the outer path, was attacked. Why not seal it? Luhan stood in front of Geto Mazo, demonic statue of the outer path, and thought for a while, and suddenly thought of the ninjutsu he had just acquired earlier, the scroll dropped by Sarutobi Hiruzen, the three-way seal. At this time, Luhan has mastered a lot of sealing techniques, mostly from Sarutobi Hiruzen, which originally belonged to the Uzumaki family. However, these sealing techniques may not be able to seal Geto Mazo, demonic statue of the outer path, directly. After all, the ability to seal Geto Mazo, demonic statue of the outer path, in the original book comes from Rinnegan. And the three-way seal is Sarutobi Hiruzen's strongest sealing technique. Give it a try. In fact, Luhan doesn't mind whether he succeeds or not. Geto Mazo, demonic statue of the outer path, is not important to him at all, and he doesn't have a Rinnegan, so he can't use it at all. The important thing is that he can control Geto Mazo now. Demonic statue of the outer path, Uchiha Madara. Luhan quickly completed the hand seal. His body was divided into three, standing around Geto Mazo, demonic statue of the outer path, staring at Geto Mazo, demonic statue of the outer path. All three Luhan were concentrated and paused while starting hand seal. This is a very complicated print. Sudden. The terrifying murderous intent shrouded Luhan, and a bone-chilling feeling came from behind Luhan. Hurry up. Incredibly fast. Before the hand seal was completed, Luhan gave up immediately, and a sonic boom erupted all over his body. Boom. The shock wave swept all around, and seemed to tear the space apart. The strong wind ruffled Luhan's black hair, and also ruffled the white hair of the person who came. At this moment, time and space seemed to freeze, and the suffocating depression enveloped the world. Desperate conspirators level 70 White Silver boss Uchiha Madara. It's Madara. He sneaked up on Luhan. At this time, Uchiha Madara looks older than 10 years ago, and his gray hair is even more messy. It is sloppy to say it nice, and it is sloppy to put it bluntly. His eyes are also cloudy, and the whole person is lifeless and lifeless. He should have been a dead man, but he is still alive. The scythe, which was unadorned but could be called an artifact, resisted Luhan's fierce knife. Hangwang, you really always bring me surprises. Uchiha Madara's harsh hoarse voice, looking at Luhan's eyes lit up with inexplicable excitement, like a pirate discovering a treasure. You too, Luhan replied with a crooked corner of his mouth. Why aren't you dead yet? Huh. Uchiha gave a deep smile and suddenly moved. The body quickly exploded back. After an instant, Uchiha Madara completed the hand seal in the air, and the fire burst into a sea of fire. He rushed towards Luhan. Too fast. Uchiha Madara's state is very strange. Although he is obviously older, he seems to be more energetic than 10 years ago. Cadent fire style, majestic destroyer flame, great fire annihilation. Luhan blew out a huge fireball, and the two Cadent fire style attacks slammed together. The surging flames burned the underground cave into purgatory, and Luhan disappeared. After 2 breaths. In the raging flames, the fire was torn open by the terrifying knife light, and Luhan, who had entered the Raiden Thunder-style chakra mode surrounded by lightning, killed Uchiha Madara behind him. Boom. Uchiha Madara turned around and took Luhan's knife, but the whole person flew out like a cannonball, and his face was a little surprised. The power of Luhan's knife has surpassed that of 10 years ago. In fact, it is not that Luhan is stronger, but the knife has evolved. Oh, I underestimate you. A harsh, hoarse voice entered Luhan's ears. Uchiha Madara collided into the sea of fire. Luhan turned his head immediately. Uchiha Madara had already changed his position by relying on the cover of the flame, but this could not fool Luhan, because the insight map would always show Uchiha Madara, S position. Kaden, fire style, dragon flame release song jutsu. 4 fire dragons rushed out of the sea of fire behind Lu Han's side and attacked Lu Han in a surrounding posture. Lu Han quickly completed the hand seal, but chose the same technique as Uchiha Madara. Kaden, fire style, dragon flame release song jutsu. Call. The ghostly figure suddenly appeared behind Lu Han, and the flames were still colliding and erupting in front of him, and Uchiha Madara had already arrived behind Lu Han, waving a sickle like a god of death, and slammed Lu Han on the back of the neck. Lu Han retracted his posture in an instant, and turned around violently. The sword light was like a rainbow. Swordsmanship flash. Swayed Uchiha Madara's side directly. Uchiha Madara's face changed dramatically, and she tried her best to dodge. Poochie. The knife light pierced his body. Chapter 1033-Fight. The swordsmanship used by Lu Han, Yishuang, is stronger than that used by Hanzo. After using the swordsmanship, Yishin scroll, Lu Han integrated this ability with his own swordsmanship and formed an enhanced version of swordsmanship, Yishuang. However, this move is also limited by the original move trajectory of swordsmanship flash. Lu Han can't turn this into a waterfall of knives, it's just a knife. But this is the knife. One blow pierced Uchiha Madara's body. Uchiha Madara turned pale in shock, and then he couldn't believe it. The power of this move had exceeded his physical endurance limit. Although he could react in speed, his strength was unstoppable. Blood splattered. The moment Uchiha Madara was injured, his body turned illusory and disappeared in front of Lu Han as an afterimage. Uchiha Madara displayed on the insight map. He chased and killed him. Uchiha Madara dodged frantically and flashed continuously. A huge cave, a sea of fire, Geto-Mazo, demonic statue of the outer path, stands in the center of the sea of fire, and 2 ghostly figures surround Geto-Mazo, demonic statue of the outer path, flickering frequently, and the frequency of the 2 flickers is getting higher and higher. The speed is getting faster and faster, and gradually, the entire cave is full of shadows of the 2. Boom. Boom. The terrifying shock wave swept the surrounding area again and again. The cave was shaking, the rocky ground cracked open after another, and gravel kept falling from the top of the cave. After Uchiha Madara was injured, she kept trying to distance herself from Lu Han, but Lu Han chased after him very much. Close, don't give him a chance. He is terrified. Lu Han has already proved to him that a knife can kill him. As long as the opportunity is right, Lu Han's knife just pierced his abdomen. This kind of injury is nothing to Uchiha Madara, who has already fused with Senju Hashirama cells. Uchiha Madara is not afraid of getting hurt, but he is very worried that Lu Han will cut off his head with a knife. Lu Han chased behind Uchiha Madara again and cut him down with one sword. Boom. The Uchiha Madara exploded into lightning, hitting Lu Han's Raiden, thunder-style armor, but it couldn't shake it. At the same moment when the clone exploded into thunder and lightning, the real Uchiha Madara appeared behind Lu Han, raised both hands to quickly complete the hand seal, and terrifying chakra erupted from the whole body. Mokuden, wood-style, world of trees wall. Boom, 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 boom. Countless trees, vines, and thorns burst out from the rocky floor of the cave. In just one breath, they filled the cave floor. At the same time, Uchiha Madara set off a storm, blowing away most of the flames in the cave. Lu Han spiraled up, and the light of the sword formed a shield. Facing the stabbing branches, vines and thorns, the waterfall knife rain kept tearing everything around. Lu Han broke through and broke through again. Break through all the way to the ground, feet on the ground. Shikatsumyaku, dead bone pulse, dance of early fern. Boom. Tens of thousands of huge bone spurs protruded from the ground, and the world of trees wall came to a head-to-head encounter. The bone spurs collided with the trees and exploded at the same time. The confrontation between the 2 techniques caused the entire cave to shake violently. Falling from above, the cave has a tendency to collapse. Flower world of trees wall. Uchiha Madara casts world of trees wall again, but this time it is very different. After the sturdy trees emerge, they move like snakes. The trees are blooming with pink yuhi-colored flowers, and the pollen-like mist spreads all around. Spread rapidly. Ding! Subversive 3665 has been poisoned. The elf's prompt should ring in Lu Han's ear. Poisoned. Forced to lose a bit of blood, and then automatically return to full, then forced to lose a little blood, and then automatically recovered to full, and so on. No other effects. If this kind of pollen is inhaled by other ninjas, it will directly faint with powerlessness, but Lu Han is different. He is a subversive, and his subversive body is not afraid of this level of poison. Lu Han was not affected in the slightest. He threw 3 Hiraishin Kunai with his hand and hit Uchiha Madara directly. Following the fast-moving Hiraishin Kunai, flashes appeared in front of Uchiha Madara. Uchiha Madara controlled the flower tree world to attack Lu Han, and then his body flickered, evading Lu Han several knives in a row, and then hand seal again. His body suddenly shook, but he saw dozens of Uchiha Madara appear in front of Uchiha Madara's body. It's a wooden clone. Dozens of Uchiha Madara scattered and attacked Lu Han from different directions in a closed formation. Futon, wind style, sleepy roll ascension. Lu Han quickly completed the hand seal, blowing a spiral wind, crushing all the way, destroying a large number of trees. More than 10 Uchiha Madara clones went straight to Uchiha Madara. Uchiha Madara quickly took off the gun by Uchiwa from behind with a hard swing. Uchiha bounces back. The gusting spiral wind suddenly changed direction, turning a corner and attacking Lu Han. Uchiha Madara that were not destroyed completed the hand seal at the same time and released the same ninjutsu, Dragon Flame Release Songjutsu. After finishing the spell, they all burst into white smoke, and Uchiha Madara allotted so many chakras to them that the chakras were exhausted. The spiral wind and hundreds of fire dragons attacked Lu Han in 6 directions from front, back, left, right, up, and down. The space vibrated violently, and the terrifying aura fluctuations directly interfered with Lu Han's sense of the Hiraishin Kunai he had just thrown. He could also throw a new Hiraishin Kunai immediately, but it was too late. Boom. Rumble boom. Unprecedented Big Bang. Since Lu Han came to the world of Hokage, he has never been attacked at this level. This is the first time that Shake the Sky and Earth could not directly destroy half of this huge cave that can be called underground space. On the side where Lu Han was, the explosion caused the half of the cave to collapse completely, and the sea of fire spread throughout the cave. Uchiha Madara appeared on top of Gedo Mazo, demonic statue of the outer path, panting violently with his scythe, staring at the still collapsed cave space. The shock wave slammed into his face, and the heat of the flame made his white hair dance wildly at the same time. The hair ends are curled. He was motionless, panting, staring intently. Gedo Mazo, demonic statue of the outer path, has opened his eyes, and is in the sea of fire. Half of his body is burned, but he ignores it. This level of flame is not bad. Gedo Mazo, demonic statue of the outer path, of. Finally, everything is at peace. Uchiha Madara still looked in that direction, holding the sickle tightly, her knuckles turning white. Chapter 1034-wrong. Is the cold light dead? Uchiha Madara is not sure, because Hangwang's strength is too strong, he can't perceive it in detail. The attack just now, even if it is a mountain, can be leveled directly. How can Hangwang be able to withstand it? Due to the terrain restrictions, there is nowhere for the cold light to escape. If it was on land, Hangwang might escape calmly, but here is underground. Even if there is Hiraishin's technique, if you can't react in time, you will die. Uchiha Madara didn't dare to relax, he was on high alert and his nerves were tense. He will not forget the pain just now. I still remember that the last time I was injured, it was hit by Tsunade desperately and explosively, and it was not long after I fought with Hangwang, and I was pierced by Hangwang's knife. The blood on the abdomen of the clothes has dried up, and the wounds under the clothes have also healed. But Uchiha Madara will never forget the critical moment. Almost. If Uchiha's reaction was so slow at that time, the knife that stabbed into his body only needed a shake, and it would be enough to tear his body to shreds. Hangwang, you won't die like this, will you? I'm really disappointed, Uchiha Madara murmured. He really couldn't bear Lu Han to die. He just wanted to push Lu Han into a corner. What he needs now is not Lu Han's life, but the life and death of Lu Han's master. Call. A cool breeze suddenly appeared behind Uchiha Madara. Uchiha Madara's body suddenly became illusory. The sword of shock slashed through the afterimage of Uchiha Madara, and Lu Han, who had no breath, missed a hit and stopped hiding. Entered the Raiden Thunder style chakra mode. It's good to come. Uchiha Madara drank hoarsely and threw more than 10 kunai back with his hand. At the same time, Gedomazo, demonic statue of the outer path, who had opened his eyes, moved, raised his head and roared, and slapped Lu Han with his huge palm like a hill. Uchiha Madara is forcibly controlling Gedomazo, demonic statue of the outer path. 10 years ago, he could only barely control Gedomazo, demonic statue of the outer path, to exert his abilities. Now, he is older than 10 years ago. In theory, he should have had more difficulty controlling Gedomazo, demonic statue of the outer path. But today's Uchiha Madara is in a very weird state, even more energetic than 10 years ago. This is something Lu Han can't understand. He doesn't know what Uchiha Madara has done to him. However, it doesn't matter either. Current Uchiha Madara is weaker than 10 years ago or stronger than 10 years ago. He is not Lu Han's opponent. The launch of Gedomazo, demonic statue of the outer path, made Lu Han feel apprehensive, and he immediately pulled back and distanced himself from Gedomazo, demonic statue of the outer path. Gedomazo, demonic statue of the outer path, did not pursue, remaining in a crouched position, 9 eyes glowing with Yuhi light. Hangguang, you really always surprise me. Standing on top of Gedomazo, demonic statue of the outer path, Uchiha Madara said in a low voice, staring at Lu Han. Oh, it's a surprise, Lu Leng said with a smile. Uchiha Madara did not kill him. He didn't resist it, but avoided it. He saw that he killed Sarutobi Hiruzen and Hanzo successively, and obtained a lot of ninjutsu scrolls from them. Unique instant technique. Do not have to use Hiraishin. Although Hiraishin can be said to be the strongest telekinesis, it requires coordinates to be able to teleport. Sometimes, it is not as useful as some direct short to medium distance telekinesis. During the battle, especially in such a relatively small underground space, any situation may be encountered, and Lu Han naturally knows how to adapt accordingly. Hangguang, why don't we stop the war? Uchiha Madara stared at Lu Han and changed his voice. A truce. Lu Han glanced at the big Yuhi's name above Uchiha Madara's head that almost blinded people's eyes. Stop you, uncle. Yeah, instead of losing both sides, we should shake hands and make peace. You go your way and I will cross my bridge. As long as you hand over the time-space mystery of your master to me, I promise not to disturb you again. Uchiha Madara has opened skylight, speaks brightly. He wants the profound meaning of life and death. Do you think it's possible? Lu Han narrowed his eyes. Nothing is impossible, isn't it? Uchiha Madara's white hair was fluttering. I admit, I may not be your opponent now. If we fight again, I will die in your hands sooner or later, but... Do you really think that I can't do anything about you? Let's fight to the death. Why? Strangeness. Very strange. The arrogant Uchiha Madara says such words that it is better to destroy his prestige. Even for the sake of peace, for the profound meaning of life and death, he should not say such words, because he should be very clear that it is useless to talk with his mouth, and the mouth escape only exists in legends. It's all bullshit. Is there a conspiracy? Uchiha Madara, do you really think I'm a fool? What are you trying to say? Don't you understand yet? Uchiha Madara grinned and suddenly raised his hand-to-hand seal. Boom. A huge thunder blasted directly behind Lu Han. This thunder was not from Uchiha Madara himself, but from behind Gedomazo, demonic statue of the outer path. The terrifying power directly hit Lu Han with an unparalleled momentum. This is the speed of real lightning. Rumbling _. The ground exploded, and fire and smoke surged over a radius of 100 meters. Lu Han escaped. A flickering figure appeared on the edge of the cave, looking at Uchiha Madara standing on the huge Geto Mazo, demonic statue of the outer path, his brows furrowed deeply. How could Uchiha Madara act like a lunatic? If he didn't agree with him, he would do it. Wrong. What's wrong? Hangwang, what's the benefit to you by killing me? You brought me to Konoha. Uchiha Madara spoke again, hoarse and low voice, not fast, as if the attack just now was not his. What are you? No, Luhan shouted loudly, his eyes changed drastically. Damn. You're stalling for time, Konoha's sighed. Before Luhan could finish speaking, the man disappeared into the cave. He finally figured out what was wrong, the wrong time. When Luhan came to this cave, it was already past 11 o'clock in the afternoon, and he fought fiercely with Uchiha Madara for a while. Uchiha Madara spoke again. It's 11:30. Half an hour at most. Beyond Konoha village, Sarutobi Hiruzen will be buried. And by now, it should be completely ready over there. The fourth generation of Mizukage Yagura, the fourth generation of Kazekage Rasa, the third generation of Tsuchikajinoki, and hundreds of masters and powerhouses from various forces in the ninja world should have gathered in Konoha village. Go back. Go back. Chapter 1035-State Funeral. Luhan burrowed into the soil and rushed to the ground with the mayfly technique. The soil layer was too thick, and Luhan couldn't sense the Hiraishin Kanai on Tsunade's body. After 2 breaths, Luhan, who was about to reach the surface, finally sensed it and disappeared. In the underground cave, Uchiha Madara, who was standing on the top of Geto Mazo, demonic statue of the outer path, had a very unsightly face. Today, he fought against Luhan, and there were 2 things that made him unable to calm down. First, Luhan's strength has completely suppressed him. With Uchiha Madara's current state, even if the firepower is fully fired regardless of the consequences, I am afraid that he can only fight Luhan in a short period of time, and as long as the time is long, he will undoubtedly lose. Second, he didn't cheat Luhan again. As Luhan guessed, Uchiha Madara really had the idea of delaying time. He wanted to hold the cold light here. Only in this way, Yagura and others in Konoha village were good at doing things, but Luhan saw through it. He, cold light, it's really interesting. Uchiha Madara let out a sneer. Call. Southwest corner of the cave, the figure of Black Zetsu appeared out of thin air. Did he agree? Uchiha Madara asked, turning her head. He didn't answer, but I think he agreed. Black Zetsu said hoarsely, because he didn't refuse. Okay. Uchiha Madara's heart was determined, and he showed a smile of victory. Uchiha Madara knew the character of that person. Although he had no contact with him before, as a famous top ninja in the ninja world, Uchiha Madara naturally mastered his detailed information, even including it's the kind of thing it does in Konoha. Oh, cold light, you would never have thought of it. Uchiha Madara grinned wickedly. Konoha Hidden Village, on the square in front of the Hokage building. The ceremony before Sarutobi Hiruzen's burial will be held here. At this time, the square has been decorated with great solemnity. Thousands of Konoha ninjas have gathered on the left side of the square, and a large number of ordinary people with status in the Konoha village are also in the queue. Middle. On the right side of the square, there are all the embassies from various countries in the ninja world, and the total number is close to 1,000. Among them, the total number of Sunagakur, Iwagakure, Kurigakure, and Takian village forces exceeds 500. Chiyo from Sunagakur village, Sukazan Fubuki from Kurigakure, Wasteland from Iwagakure village, etc. are all gathering closer to the Hokage building. The 2 groups of people were clearly separated, one left and one right, and a wide passage was left in the middle. Are waiting. Tsunade and others were not among the crowd, but inside the Hokage building. First floor morning hall. Kaharu Udatane, Homura Mitokado, Namikaze Minato, Jiraiya, Orochimaru, Sarutobi Yigzune, Sarutobi Bawako and others were all there, surrounded by a large number of guards and Anbu ninjas. Tsunade stood with Orochimaru, Several guards from Koharu Udatane were around, and the shadow cat was crawling on Tsunade's shoulders, and everyone here was dressed in burlap. Call. Luhan appeared beside Tsunade out of thin air. Tsunade, who seemed very depressed, was suddenly shocked and asked in a low voice, "How is it?" Luhan shook his head and did not elaborate. He found Uchiha Madara, and even had a chance to kill Uchiha Madara, but it was likely to be a long battle, so Luhan had to give up there and come back first. Here is the core of today's events. The insight map shows that the Big Yuhi name is just outside the door. Third generation of the village of Iwagakure, the land of the earth, level 70 bronze boss Onoki. Sure enough, he's already in. Koharu Udatane noticed Luhan coming, stood with Tsunade in a low-key manner, said nothing to Homura Mitokado beside the coffin, and then quickly walked towards Luhan. Luhan disappeared out of thin air. Didn't wait for Koharu Udatane to come over and say anything. On the rooftop of the Hokage building, Luhan flashed and squinted to the square in front of the Hokage building below. Onoki at a glance. It is worth mentioning that the mysterious Onoki who disguised himself was not hiding in the Iwagakure mission, but among the Sunagakure mission ninjas. Looking at the costumes, he looked like a dwarf melon ninja, wearing a robe and a mask. If such a figure appeared in Iwagakure, he would be suspected of guessing his identity, but Sunagakure would not. With a quick glance, Luhan saw Rasa again, who was standing behind Chiyo, disguised as Chiyo's bodyguard. Also wearing a mask. They are all here. Relying on the color of the names of the ninjas on the heads of the diplomatic missions of various countries, it is shown that the ninjas named Yuhi participated in this ceremony with malicious intent. There are nearly 600 people, and their average strength is very high. There are more than a dozen cage levels, the strongest is Onoki, followed by Chiyo. Damn, Luhan muttered. If these guys really do it, as long as they are willing to pay the price, it is not a problem to destroy the current Konoha. Although there are many strong men in Konoha, all the older cage levels have appeared, but this kind of cage level, Onoki can beat it. 5 is not a problem. In fact, now Luhan can choose to do it directly. With his strength, as long as he is fully prepared and kills a few leaders first, the odds of winning will be great, but Luhan has already made a plan, he is not in a hurry. Time up. When the solemn bell rang, Namikaze Minato, Sarutobi Yushuin, Jiraiya, Orochimaru, and 4 other Sarutobi clan ninjas, a total of 8 people, with wooden sticks on their shoulders, slowly lifted Sarutobi Hiruzen's coffin. 8 people carried the coffin and, under the command of Koharu Udatane, walked outside the Hokage building, with Sarutobi Lake Biwa following behind, holding the spiritual seat of Sarutobi Hiruzen. The door of the Hokage building has been fully opened, and even the walls on both sides have been removed, so that the audience outside can see the scene completely. The ceremony officially started. After Sarutobi Hiruzen's coffin was carried to the square outside, Koharu Udatane commanded to put down the coffin. In front of where the coffin was placed, a high platform had already been built. After the coffin was put down, 9 bells rang again. Under the protection of a group of Anbu ninjas, they slowly boarded the high platform. To Sarutobi Hiruzen, and then all looked at the daimyo of the Land of Fire in unison. The Fire Country daimyo unfolded the scroll in his hand and began to read the eulogy. This is a state funeral, this link is very important. Chapter 1036 _ The enemies appear. Daimyo read the eulogy on the high platform, telling about Sarutobi Hiruzen's life and his great achievements. Daimyo also talked about his personal friendship with Sarutobi Hiruzen, and how he inherited from his attacking father with the help of Sarutobi Hiruzen through step-by-step efforts. A big name. The scene was solemn, with only the voice of the big name. Many Konoha ninjas bowed their heads in sad gestures, listening. 3 generations of Hokage, Sarutobi Hiruzen, his life was wonderful, he took on the responsibility of revival when Konoha was at its most perilous time. For 30 years, he devoted himself to Konoha Zen and did not dare to slack off for a moment. His greatest Hokage. A serious voice echoed across the square. Great. A loyal ninja who framed Konoha for his own benefit, how dare he call him great? The hoarse voice with a joke suddenly appeared, and the interrupted daimyo's words spread his voice throughout Konoha. An uproar. The daimyo looked in disbelief, and the Konoha ninjas and the mission ninjas who were present also looked over in shock. Someone jumped out to disrupt the situation. How dare you say such an outrageous thing? Looking for death. Who is it? Get out now. Damn it. Who? You dare to insult Hokage-sama. Thousands of Konoha ninjas in the square all exploded. They were excited, but they did not walk around, because they were all watching to see who was talking nonsense here. From the team. He, you guys are so naive. Do you really think Sarutobi Hiruzen is devoted to Konoha? Do you really think he has no selfishness? There was another sarcastic voice. At the same time, a group of Sunagaku ninjas moved to both sides in the mission team, spread out to make way for a passage, and saw a mysterious, short and fat ninja walking out from inside and talking. It was him. He walked out of the crowd and took off his mask in public. Bearded, Yuhi knows, about 60 years old. It is Tsuchikage, the third generation of the village of Iwagakure, Onoki nicknamed 2-Day Scales. Since Sarutobi Hiruzen's death, he can be said to be the only remaining Zeon ninja among the older generation rulers of Konoha. On the other side of the crowd, Kaharu Udatane saw Onoki's first moment, and realized that it was not good. Onoki dared to come to Konoha in person, and dared to show up in the middle of it. He must have come prepared. Otherwise he wouldn't have the guts. After Onoki revealed his identity, the scolding subsided for a part. After all, this person is Onoki, a powerful ninja with a status comparable to Sarutobi Hiruzen, who can point to Sarutobi Hiruzen and curse. However, there are still some stunned or hot-tempered ninjas who can't help it. Damn it, what did you just say, old man? What about Tsuchikage 3? This is Konoha. Silence, Kaharu Udatane shouted. The surroundings suddenly became quiet, and many people looked at Kaharu Udatane to see how she handled the matter, and others looked at Tsunade, Jiraiya, Orochimaru, Namikaze Minato and others to see how they reacted. The silence, Kaharu Udatane stepped out of the crowd and walked across from Onoki. Tsuchikage, the dignified third generation, came quietly, hiding his head and showing his tail. Onoki-sama, you are not afraid of losing your identity? Kaharu Udatane said lightly, not looking angry, but his words were harsh. I'm here today to expose Sarutobi Hiruzen's hypocrisy. If you come directly, you Konoha will probably try to block my mouth, and I can't either. Onoki squeezed his beard and said lightly. Is it here to spoil the situation? Kaharu Udatane squinted. Onoki. I tell you, this is the hidden village of Konoha. It's not a place where you can go wild. If you can watch the ceremony quietly, we at Konoha will naturally treat you as a guest. If you can't, blame us for being rude. While Kaharu Udatane shouted loudly, many of the Konoha powerhouses in the crowd were all observing the mission team on the opposite side, and some were even ready for battle. They are all experienced ninjas, all guessed, Onoki came prepared. But no matter how well prepared Onoki is, it is impossible to pull all the foundations of Iwagakure village down, right? And even if it is pulled, Konoha is not afraid to fight him. Kaharu, why are you so angry? No matter what, we are old friends. Onoki still said lightly, I think there is something you should listen to. You better shut up. You won't let me say, what are you afraid of? If you have anything to say, you can say it after the funeral, I am all ears, but now, no. Ha ha, can't you? Then what am I going to say? Whoosh, woohoo. As soon as Onoki's fierce voice fell, figures emerged from the crowds on both sides of the square. More than 30 elites, including Namikaze Minato, Jiraiya, and Hyuga Bonin, all appeared behind Kaharu Udatane. On Onoki's side, 30 or 40 figures flashed. Tsukazan Fubuki from Kurigakure Village, Chio from Sunagakure Village, Masashi Shibukawa from Takian Village, and Lois from Iwagakure Village are all on the list, as well as many mysterious ninjas with masks, as well as recognized powerhouses without masks. Jonin on both sides at the same time, there is a sense of evenness. But Kaharu Yutate's face changed dramatically because he saw that Kurigakure, Sunagakure, Takian, Iwagakure, they were united. What are you doing? Damn. Go. Konoha ninjas were gathered, the other ninjas were all half a beat slower. When they saw Onoki posing behind Onoki, almost all the Konoha ninjas who belonged to the thousands moved and moved forward. Don't move, Kaharu Yutatane shouted sharply, drinking to stop the Konoha ninjas who wanted to surround him. Her expression was stiff, and her eyes were already a little terrifying, because she saw that right across, behind Onoki, two ninjas took off their masks, and they. One is Kurigakure Village 4th generation Mizukage Yagura. One is Kazekage Rasa, the 4th generation of Sunagakure Village. Kaharu Yutatane fully realized the seriousness of the problem. Among the 5 major ninja villages, Sunagakure, Kurigakure, Iwagakure, the leaders of the 3 major ninja villages, all came. They are all present, which means that there must be a group of top powerhouses from the 3 major ninja villages. What are you trying to say? Kaharu Yutatane stared sharply at Onoki. Chapter 1037 He is a villain. Voice is tough and his attitude is tough, but in fact Kaharu Yutatane has already shown his cowardice. If this situation is fought, regardless of the outcome, Konoha will probably be destroyed. So Kaharu Yutatane didn't let Onoki speak up here before, and now he can only let it. The Konoha ninjas were not good looking, and some people even showed their shocked expressions. The shadows of the 3 hostile ninja villages came. How many people did they bring, and was the outside of the village already surrounded? Hiraishin Kanai had slipped out of Namikaze Minato's sleeve and was held in his hand. His body was already tense, his eyes swept back and forth across the faces of Onoki, Yagura, and Rasa. Jiraiya looked grim and was ready for battle. Orochimaru stood beside Tsunade, as cold as ever. Tsunade frowned, clenched her fists subconsciously, and glanced up slightly. She didn't know where the cold light was now. Anbu's acting Captain Bailey, also known as Uncle Hyuga, has already started commanding Anbu ninjas, quietly but quickly making arrangements, beckoning to the high platform, indicating that Anbu ninjas will escort the daimyo away first, and then turn to the ninjas around him. Explain, let them arrange people to quickly evacuate with ordinary people in the square. Inuzuka, the commander of the Konoha Garrison Corps, has ordered to send more Konoha ninjas to come here. Onoki didn't say what he wanted to do, he just wanted to talk, but Konoha immediately made a comprehensive arrangement. There was no way, who let the other party be the 3 shadows. That's right, let me finish. Onoki gave Kaharu Yutatane a weird smile. Just now your name said, Sarutobi Hiruzen is the greatest Hokage. I can't agree, in my heart, the greatest Hokage, always the first Hokage Senju Hashirama-sama. Oh, Kaharu Yutatane narrowed his eyes slightly. She has gathered many powerful people around her, but she is still very dangerous. If she is so close to Onoki, if Onoki is really malicious, she can kill her in an instant. Sarutobi Hiruzen, he's a selfish villain at all. Onoki said wildly. You fart. You are the villain. A few angry shouts came from the crowd behind Kaharu Yutatane, and there were always hot-tempered ninjas who couldn't hear such words. Onoki didn't care who was scolding him, didn't even look at him, looked at Kaharu Yutatane and smiled. I know it's hard for you to accept, but I have proof. Before that, I didn't believe that Sarutobi Hiruzen was like this. People. Onoki said, took out a scroll from his arms, shook it at Kaharu Yutatane, and handed it over. Kaharu Yutatane didn't take it right away. It was an Anbu ninja beside her who took the scroll, checked it, and confirmed that it was fine before handing it to Kaharu Yutatane. Kaharu Yutatane took the scroll and opened it quickly. She doesn't believe that Onoki is really the master or any evidence against Sarutobi Hiruzen. he is an outsider after all. But when she glanced at the reels, her complexion changed. Kaharu Udatane can't believe it's real. She couldn't believe that Sarutobi Hiruzen actually did such a thing. At the back, Jiraiya and Namikaze Minato both subconsciously probed into the scroll, but Kaharu Udatane closed the scroll abruptly so that no one else could see it. 10 days ago, Black Zetsu, a subordinate of Uchiha Madara, came to our village of Iwagakure and gave this to me. Onoki suddenly said loudly, and most of the Konohas who had a high voice could hear it clearly. Sarutobi Hiruzen entrusted Black Zetsu. I hope we can cooperate with him to frame your Konoha's Anbu Captain Wufeng. That is Hitaki Tai Shuo. To this end, he also provided me with some important private information about Wufeng and forged it. The letter of Wufeng's contact with us even gave us some Konoha's confidential information. Let us cooperate with him, and said that Wufeng gave it to us. Hokage, the third generation of Konoha, the greatest Hokage in your mouth, did such a thing. Framed your Captain Anbu. Ha ha ha. It's ridiculous, ridiculous. Full of nonsense. Shut up. It was clearly Wufeng who assassinated Lord Hokage. He betrayed Konoha. A few more people couldn't help but shouted angrily. Ha ha ha, you don't believe it. Then you ask her, what did I give her? Onoki pointed at Kaharu Udatane and laughed. Puff. Flames exploded from Kaharu Udatane's hand, burning the scroll to ashes. Just so shameless. Burn the evidence in full view. Kaharu Udatane couldn't help it either, she tried her best. Onoki was stunned for a moment, but he never thought that Kaharu Udatane would do this, publishing the evidence and saying that it was fake. Wouldn't it be the best way to deal with it? Is it too guilty to burn it directly? It can only be said that Onoki still doesn't understand Konoha. The scroll contains information about Sarutobi Hiruzen's handwritten letter, and there are some secrets related to Konoha that Kaharu Udatane can't publish at all. It's ridiculous. Kaharu Udatane laughed suddenly and sneered. Lord Hokage passed away, and I can't refute your nonsense. You want to frame him. Why are you framed? Are you sure I'm framing him? Onoki raised an eyebrow. Of course. Kaharu Udatane said with absolute certainty. Let's assume that even if Lord Hokage really wants to communicate with you secretly, according to what you said, to frame Wufeng, why would Lord Hokage do this? Besides, what happened to Lord Hokage? Maybe put the handle in your hands. Give you a chance to smear him. Would Lord Hokage make such a low-level mistake? Very reasonable. This is indeed a low-level error, and there is a problem when you think about it. I'll answer your first question first. Why did he do this? Onoki said quickly, because Hitaki Tai Shuo is Han Guang's disciple, and he wants to get rid of it quickly. The real purpose is to deal with Han Guang. Secondly, the reason why I was able to get the evidence and get the handle on Sarutobi Hiruzen is because someone betrayed him. Sell out. Kaharu Udatane sneered. Then tell me, who is it? It's me. On one side of the high platform, a figure appeared out of thin air and responded to Kaharu Udatane. Oh look. That's a man in black. Black Zetsu. Chapter 1038 You Konoha must admit defeat. Black Zetsu appeared in public. This may be the first time in his history that he has appeared in front of such a large scene. Before that, very few people had even heard of him, and even fewer had seen him. At this moment, everyone is looking at him. I can testify that everything Onoki said is true. Black Zetsu said quickly, my previous relationship with Sarutobi Hiruzen, I think you all know, I can attest that Sarutobi Hiruzen did indeed do the thing about framing Wufeng. Yes, I personally carried out this matter. Originally, I planned with Sarutobi Hiruzen to frame Wufeng, kill him justifiably, draw out the cold light, smear the cold light, kill the cold light. But I didn't expect that the cold light came so fast. Sarutobi Hiruzen's sudden death brought our cooperation to an end. Bullshit. Damn. Go to hell. Call. On the high platform, a figure appeared out of thin air beside Black Zetsu. This was an elderly ninja with white hair and beard. He was the chief elder of the Konoha Sarutobi clan, Sarutobi Hiruzen's cousin, Sarutobi Sagi. He is one of the older generation of Konoha strong, although his strength has regressed a lot due to age, but he is still Kage level. Sarutobi Sagi suddenly appeared beside Black Zetsu, wielding the sword and shouting angrily. Cut through the air. Black Zetsu disappeared out of thin air. The golden lightning flashed to Sarutobi Sagi's side. It was Namikaze Minato. He didn't shoot to kill, but to protect Sarutobi Sagi. He also knew a little about Black Zetsu's strength. Sarutobi Sagi was not Black Zetsu's opponent. Get out of here. If you have the ability to say that you don't have the ability to fight. Sarutobi Sagi was angry and shouted at the surrounding. Sir Sagi, calm down. Namikaze Minato persuaded a few words, and then whispered something in Sarutobi Sagi. Sarutobi Sagi then snorted coldly and jumped off the high platform with Namikaze Minato and returned to the team. What a farce. Koharu Udatane snorted coldly, looking at Onoki. Onoki. You joined Black Zetsu to smear our Lord Hokage, is this your purpose today? Koharu Udatane can't understand what Onoki is here for. To engage in such a big battle, I don't know how much it costs to unite the forces of the ninja village, just to smear. Hey, I just want you to see what kind of person Sarutobi Hiruzen is. Onoki sneered, aside from the grudges, I actually admire Hangwang. If there are such excellent ninjas in our Iwagakure village, I will definitely the position of Tsuchikage is given to him. After all, I am old, and so is Sarutobi Hiruzen. But what did he do? Enough is enough. Koharu Udatane interrupted Onoki sharply, speaking quickly, if that's what you're talking about today, then well, you're done. Believe it or not, it's our business, you can come back, you are not welcome in Konoha. Quote. At this moment, all the ordinary people in the small square of the Hokage building have been evacuated, and the Fire Country daimyo has also been escorted away, leaving only the Konoha ninja and the ninjas from various countries. Except for the ninjas of the mission from Sand, Mist, Rock, and Takishinen village, who stood there and didn't move, all the missions from other small countries and small forces had already retreated and gathered around the square to watch the fun. They were ready to run away at any time. Ready. Because watching this scene, it is possible to fight at any time. Namikaze Minato, Jiraiya, Orochimaru, Inuzuka Solitary, Tsunade, Onoki, Sukazan Fubuki, Chiyo, Yagura, Rasa. If this group of people really fight, it won't be long before Konoha Hidden Village will be completely destroyed. Not to mention, there are hundreds of experts from both sides at the scene. More Konoha ninjas have arrived. Inuzuka ordered almost the entire garrison to be transferred here, as well as the internal affairs of Uchiha, Hyuga and other large tribes, who were originally arranged to participate in patrol and monitoring, and are also in various places at this time. Under the order of the patriarch of the big clan, he rushed to the small square. In terms of numbers, Konoha is absolutely dominant, but in terms of overall strength, Koharu Udatane is completely clueless. You don't need to look at them one by one, recognize everyone, know their strength, just think about it. Don't bring enough manpower, don't bring enough ninjas, the shadows of the three major ninja villages, why dare to come here? ... Onoki, who had been speaking on behalf of everyone, turned his head and looked to the west of the square, and more Konoha ninjas were running toward him. Koharu Udatane, I advise you to let them retreat first. Today we are here, and we have no intention of starting, so don't get me wrong. Onoki said coldly. Joke, this is the hidden village of Konoha, how to arrange the ninjas, it's not your turn to dictate. Koharu Udatane sneered, Onoki, you better say it straight. What do you want to do today? There are indeed several things. Onoki's voice sank with his hands behind his back. I've already said the first thing, Sarutobi Hiruzen is a villain. The second thing, also about him. I'm talking about this war. This is an all-out war that has caused the lives of the ninja world to be devastated. What? It was really Sarutobi Hiruzen who started the ninja war with a premeditated plan. You fart. Even Kaharu Udatane couldn't help but swear. Call. The high platform on the side, Black Zetsu appeared again, speaking quickly. What he said is true. In Konoha 40 years, we made a corresponding plan with Sarutobi Hiruzen. This ninja war seems to be a multi-party conflict. What comes out of Ultimate is actually the conspiracy of Sarutobi Hiruzen. After saying the last word, Black Zetsu disappeared out of thin air again. This is the second thing. Onoki followed, not giving Kaharu Udatane a plan to speak. The third thing. Since the war was started by Sarutobi Hiruzen, then he is responsible. All of us agree to end the ninja war, on the condition that you Konoha must admit defeat and pay us 2 billion taels of war reparations. Chapter 1039-2 billion. Onoki finally revealed his true purpose and put on such a big battle, that is, to make Konoha village surrender unconditionally and pay the sky-high war reparations. 2 billion. Kaharu Udatane looked at Onoki in disbelief. It costs 2 billion to speak. This can no longer be described by the lion's big mouth. This is simply whimsical. It is impossible for Konoha village to have 2 billion liquidity. It is possible to gather all the private properties of the major tribes, but if this is done, the major tribes will never compromise, and the only way to go is to fight to the end. That's right, it's 2 billion. Onoki put his hands behind his back with a cold face. 1 or 2 less. If you don't admit defeat and don't pay the war reparations, today is the day your hidden village of Konoha will be destroyed. What a big breath. He's just crazy. It's hard for a strong man. Where do we have 2 billion? We can't admit defeat. You die. Thousands of Konoha ninjas blew up, shouting and scolding, but there were still some ninjas, some jonin, elite jonin, chiefs of major clans. Many of them were silent. Onoki is by no means talking big. They can all see that although there are only 500 or 600 people on Onoki's side, and more than 3,000 ninjas from Konoha's side have arrived, the number is very different, but in this situation, the number does not represent strength. Only by Onoki one person, defeating an army of 3,000 people is not a problem. Wishful thinking. Kaharu Udatane shouted sharply, we Konoha will never admit defeat. We will never pay 2 billion in war reparations. Onoki, you know that we Konoha don't have this much money, yet you still make such unreasonable demands. Are you fighting? We Konoha are here. This is very hard to say. In fact, Kaharu Udatane can't help it either. Damn 2 billion, I can't get it out. What else can I do if I don't fight? In fact, if Onoki asked for 102 million, Kaharu Udatane might have agreed. The current war situation is at a disadvantage for Konoha village. Coupled with the death of Sarutobi Hiruzen, Konoha village may win the war. Sex is already very low, and with Onoki in such a big battle, Kaharu Udatane is willing to bow his head. As long as he can protect Konoha, as long as he can protect the ninjas of Konoha village, Kaharu Udatane doesn't care if he becomes a sinner in Konoha village. Are you sure, Kaharu Udatane? Are you sure you really want to fight? Onoki stared, his breath burst out. Boom. The terrifying aura shot into the sky, and everyone around was terrified. Even Namikaze Minato, the strongest in Konoha, was far inferior to Onoki compared to the aura. Boom, 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 boom. After Onoki, Rasa, Yagura, Chiyo, Sukazan Fubuki and all the nearly 600 ninjas on the mission all showed their breaths, and the creepy and terrifying breaths gathered into a ball, like a cloud, shrouded in the sky of Konoha village. When they show their breath, it is equivalent to exposing their own strength. After all, only a ninja with enough strength can show a correspondingly powerful breath. It's a show and a threat. Many Konoha ninjas were stunned. They only thought about the possible harm caused by famous powerhouses such as Onoki, but they did not expect that the mysterious ninjas wearing masks were so strong. They can really destroy Konoha. Although there will be some price to pay, this price will definitely be within the range they can afford. Are you really going to fight? Onoki asked again. Kaharu Udatane's face was bitter, and sure enough, what she had thought before was absolutely correct. The three big shadows appeared together, and they must have been fully prepared. It's a pity. Too bad Sarutobi Hiruzen died. If Sarutobi Hiruzen hadn't died, they certainly wouldn't have dared to do it. Compared with strength, Sarutobi Hiruzen is an existence that belongs to the level of 10,000 enemies, known as Zeon. And Onoki is also at this level. If you want to enter this level, you must not only have strength, but also record and rich experience. After all, in battle wisdom and strategy are also very important. Knowing super powerful techniques and making good use of super powerful techniques are two concepts. Onoki is the enemy of all. Sarutobi Hiruzen is also the enemy of 10,000 people. But Sarutobi Hiruzen is no longer there, and this is where the gap is the biggest. Koharu Udatane suddenly thought again that it was Han Guang who killed Sarutobi Hiruzen, so will he shoot? About Koharu Udatane is a little desperate. The possibility of Hangguang's shot is too low. There are two reasons. First, even if Hangguang makes a shot, it is extremely dangerous, and the outcome is unpredictable. Second, Hangguang has broken with Konoha. He is now in Konoha, but he has not shown up, has already explained his attitude. All in all, unless Hangguang himself is mean, he will never risk his life to fight against Onoki and others for Konoha. Han Guang is a person with clear grudges. It is precisely because of the clear grievances that Koharu Udatane can't think of a good result. What? Changed your mind? Onoki asked with a grin when he saw that Koharu Udatane did not speak. I can give you 3 minutes to think about it, and you can also ask for the opinion of your Konoha clan chiefs. 2 billion, it's always if you can get it together. Oh yes, your Fire Country daimyo is also in the village, you can borrow money from him. Quote. No, we will never surrender. We are ninjas and we are not afraid to fight. We're going to die. They are too strong. There are two different voices among the thousands of ninjas in Konoha. One is the bloody death fighting faction, and the other is the faction of complacency. People are different, and so are the ninjas. In this situation, there are also differences within Konoha. No one wants to die, and in the consciousness of many people, problems that can be solved with money are not problems. Our Hyuga clan can come up with 100 million. Hyuga Hiyashi's low voice came from behind Koharu Udatane. Let's go to the Inuzuka clan to get 40 million. Inuzuka said alone. Uchiha tribe, 100 million. Uchiha Fugaku said. Sarutobi family, 100 million. Sarutobi Yushuin said. The people around Koharu Udatane have already started to scrape together the money. Chapter 1040-Life and Death. Can stand beside Koharu Udatane, in addition to the strong, are the big men in the Konoha village. Most of them will not be hot-headed people. Even if their clansmen are screaming and fighting, they will keep calm. This is related to the life and death of Konoha village. If the money is gone, you can make more money. If the Konoha village is gone, then it's all over. Ninjas are not afraid of fighting, but they are afraid of perishing. A ninja can fight to the end and sacrifice his life for his tribe and for his own village, but if the tribe and the village will also perish in this battle, then all their dedication will be meaningless. For what? It is to provide a better environment for the next generation, to protect the tribe, and it can also be money. But if Shinobi village were to perish, it would be true, all battles would be meaningless. At this moment, no matter how many internal contradictions there had been before, the Uchiha, Hyuga, Sarutobi, Inuzuka, Yamanaka, Aburame. These big clans all chose to put aside their prejudices and stand on a united front. Although Onoki is an enemy, he is a decent person regardless of his position. What he said, one spit and one nail, he said 2 billion, then as long as Konoha spends 2 billion, it can not only solve this matter, but also to end the protracted ninja world war. Most tribes have expressed their opinions. And those small clans who usually seem to be loyal to Konoha, don't cause trouble, and are honest and disciplined, but they are hesitant. For them, Konoha village doesn't feel as much a sense of belonging as the big clans do. Because they are a small clan, their status in the village is not high, they are usually small, transparent in the village, and have little contact with the high-level Konoha. In this case, their minds have to live up. Why should the private property accumulated over the generations be taken out? Small clans can choose to leave Konoha village and join other shinobi villages. Large clans cannot escape because they are too involved with Konoha village, and even if they do leave, shinobi village will not dare to accept them, just like the Hyuga clan, if they broke away from Konoha to join Kurigakure, and the ghost lanterns of Kurigakure village would definitely disagree. Because Hyuga is too powerful, if Hyuga merges into Kurigakure, who will be the largest tribe of Kurigakure in the future, and who will be the real controller of the village of Kurigakure, is hard to say. Small clans do not have this problem at all. Fewer people is also an advantage. Any force likes to absorb small clans to enhance their own strength. Konoha is in an existential crisis. The final decision of Kaharu Udatane will not only affect the fate of Konoha village, but also affect the historical trend of the entire ninja world. Whether Konoha village completely disappeared into the long river of history, or went to revival after the decline, or completely declined, all in Kaharu Udatane's thoughts. Many tribal chiefs spoke to Kaharu Udatane, and many of the sub-clan chiefs, said nothing. In the northwest, on a tower 1 kilometer away, Luhan was standing on the rooftop, drinking from a water cup. He didn't look nervous or stressed at all, he was preparing, eating and drinking, ready to fight. He is going to appear after all, no matter what entanglements the two groups have over there, what they say, or what they do, it doesn't matter. Today's matter, Luhan will end it with one hand. His super strength allows Luhan to hear the conversation over there clearly, and his eyesight is not a problem. He can even see the faces of everyone in front of the Hokage building. I have to say, it's very dramatic. Those ninjas in Konoha village, from the same enemy, to different minds, Luhan sees all the changes. Have to admit that Onoki's shrewdness and wisdom are beyond mortals. This reputation is not weaker than Sarutobi Hiruzen's third-generation Tsuchikage, the leader of the party who has been in power for the longest time in the original book, and his grasp of people's hearts is really extremely accurate. In fact, he didn't do anything, just put pressure on Konoha in a certain order, and this result was achieved. It can be expected that if the two sides really fight, there will likely be deserters on Konoha's side, and there will be no less. That's interesting, Uchiha Madara. You don't really want Konoha to perish, do you? Are there any other tricks in the future? Luhan muttered to himself. In front of the Hokage building, Konoha's side was already noisy, thousands of people were talking at the same time, and the scene was a mess. Even Kaharu Udatane and Homura Mitokado are arguing. I'll come, this sinner, I'll be the one. Homura Mitokado adjusted his glasses, his eyes determined. Kaharu, you shouldn't carry this name, I don't have the ability to you, Konoha still needs you. No, Konoha is led by me these days. It's my responsibility not to detect the crisis in advance. Kaharu Udatane shook his head. Acknowledging defeat and paying indemnities, the two have reached an agreement on this point, but they have differences as to who came forward to admit defeat and who came forward to sign the surrender and peace agreement. Whoever does this will lose his reputation. Konoha has never been defeated and this will be the first and most humiliating one. While the main battle legion was outside, Konoha was threatened by a powerful enemy and forced to surrender. This incident will definitely be written into textbooks in the future. When the time comes, the person who admits defeat is not an exaggeration to say that it is eternal. Have you discussed it? 3 minutes have come. Onoki said suddenly, have you collected enough money? If not, I can warn you, Tsunade. She's very rich. Onoki's last sentence really reminded everyone that all eyes were on Tsunade, who never said a word. Tsunade is rich. Everyone knows the legend of the cold light treasure. Moreover, Han Huang admitted before that the treasure really exists. Kaharu Udatane looked at Tsunade with a complicated expression. Tsunade was not a Konoha ninja 10 years ago, and she would leave as soon as she wanted, and Han Guang would definitely take her away, so it would be impossible to ask her to pay. Besides, Tsunade doesn't necessarily have the final say on how the money is used. At this moment, Tsunade is in the spotlight. Lu Han, who was upstairs in the distance, suddenly understood. No wonder he mentioned the incredible number of 2 billion, so it turned out to be related to Tsunade.